Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Tyvis Powell, Jason Lloyd. Plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Hey, happy President's Day! What are you guys going to do to celebrate President's Day? It's always a big day on the calendar every year.
I'm going to work, and I'm going to go get an oil change.
Yeah, we're going to
Nice, that's the best
And
way
then
to
I'm going to be
celebrate
talked into
it.
buying a car for a President's Day sale.
Buying a car on President's
No,
Day?
I'm pretty sure they're going to talk me into it.
Oh, okay.
So
I
my loan
probably
is
will.
it's almost at the maturity. So I already know when I go in here today what
I got
they
it.
expect.
So you about to drop some dead presidents on President's Day. That's the best way to do it. I like that.
You know what President's Day really has become is a mattress sale.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's like it.
Levin Furniture.
Get your pillow top
Come in
here.
and get a $9,000 mattress for $150.
Bro, these dudes, they'll get you together too. That Levin Furniture, boy, man, if you go in one of them, when they got a sleep number, they'll be trying to sell you, Sir G. Bush, your sleep number. That I've heard about your neck, sir. And your neck has been.
You need the sleep
you
number.
need the sleep number. I'm like, listen, don't
They
need
be hitting you
number.
up like them lawyers that once you be in an accident. G. Bush, I've heard about your neck.
Yeah,
I
listen.
got the sleep number bed. for
Yeah, I
you.
got you. Everything. I'm like, every lawyer knows is pre-existing.
You know what they've done now is they've partnered with sports leagues. The sleep number is partnered with the NFL.
I seen.
And I
seen
think they
Jamar
gave
Chase.
all of them free beds, so they say 3/4 of our players sleep on our beds.
Them beds be like 12,000 too, and they be saying.
Yeah,
it
no,
with
they're
a
not cheap.
They be saying it with a straight face, and I'm like, listen, what I got ain't got nothing to do with no bed. If you got to take medicine to go to sleep, it don't matter what bed you sleeping
You sleep
on.
on a concrete.
You could be the Three Little Pigs. I could be sleeping on a bed full of hay and be gone by what I got.
I hope everybody has a happy President's Day.
Yeah.
We're never really sure how to celebrate that.
I'm going to watch NASCAR.
Oh, that's
the whole
right.
damn weekend was rained
The
out.
500
The
is
Xfinity race
4 o'clock
is
today?
4 o'clock today.
Wow. And we've got, of course, Matt Collick. We'll have
Yeah.
2 cars in the field, right?
Yeah, I put money on A.J. Allmendinger.
Nice.
So
Very nice.
that's where my fan doing money went.
There you go.
Man, listen.
That's not his course. He likes the road courses.
Yeah, but you know what? Daytona's the wild card. You know that. So.
Yeah, it is. Who's in best position at lap with 2 miles to go?
Yeah.
On lap 200.
That's the best way.
I'll
for
be
it to
the reckless dude. I'll be down 15 laps, all in somebody's rear view, bumping them.
Here I come.
They're like, G. Bush, come on, bro. You ain't even in the race. Nope, everything's fair
It gets
game.
so tricky with teams, and they have, they get help from teammates,
Yeah.
and
Manufacturer
I think
help,
Team
the whole
Gibbs has
nine.
like 4 cars.
Here's the crazy part, because Denny Hamlin drives for Joe Gibbs.
Yes, he does.
But he's part owner with Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
of
with
the
one of the competing
45 and the 23.
That's
and
bizarre.
So you got Tyler Reddick and you got Bubba Wallace competing in the same event as Denny Hamlin. And I was watching this NASCAR series on Netflix, and Denny talked about it. You know, I'm an owner, so he found himself torn all the time. Like, what do I do in these situations?
Man,
So
I don't
very bizarre.
I don't trust no team sports besides the ones that we play in middle school. Like when they had the Tour de France, and then your boy had everybody else on his squad. I'm like, how does everybody be on one team, but we only want Armstrong to win?
And I always felt sorry for the Rabbit. The
Yeah.
Rabbit is the guy that sprints out to tire everybody else out. Like, he's got no chance.
None at all.
Sacrificial lamb, so your boy can come up here on steroids
Yeah.
and get the trophy.
He come up here all strong and fresh.
That's
Jeff,
nuts.
you've been in the mountains for 15 weeks. You fresh still?
And that's funny because that yellow rubber band, it used to be part of the wardrobe in the hood. Like, that was
It
part of
should.
your get up.
Oh.
yeah, it was just
that's
part of
crazy.
the
Armstrong.
Crazy,
Yeah.
but that's crazy that you brought that up.
That was like one of the first ones, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, just a simple rubber band. It was part of your everyday outfit.
He messed up everybody's kids.
Man, I'm exhausted after that NBA All-Star game.
Woo! what a barn burner.
To say the league has a problem on its hands is an understatement. When the commissioner comes out and openly questions the effort of his players
After
on
Jay,
one of the biggest stages,
after spending the whole first half of the season
Pumping it up.
promising it's going to be a more competitive effort, that's my goal. That's Joe Dumars, the Player Association president. It's going to be a competitive contest,
it
guys.
didn't happen. You know, here's what it felt like to me. You know when a parent is with the kid in the department store and they're saying, "Don't you embarrass me," and the kid is like inside going, "What are you going to do to me?" Then start screaming, "Mom, let go, let go!" It was literally like the players telling the commissioner, "No, our league.
Yeah.
We decide what happens.
I mean,
you're not going to tell us that we have to give max effort."
Yeah.
That's what it's come to. Can our players please try harder?
And it was the marquee dudes. Was the LeBron? Brown was over there having conversations, and
It looked like a
chatting,
pickup game.
And Steph Curry is like,
Luka throwing up half-court shots with his left hand, laughing about it.
and then
It literally, I honestly think they were doing that on purpose, just to upstage the commissioner.
got hung on the rim. He threw the ball up and got hung.
And it's like, come on, Luka, I know for a
6'8".
fact. I know for a fact you better than this.
Yeah, it was hard to watch. We're going to talk about that for the first part of the show. Mikey McNuggets on our call this morning said, I didn't sleep last night. He's so tore up about this. I couldn't sleep. I'm taking this very seriously. I came up with 5 ways to fix it. So that's coming up at like what, 35?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the game and the weekend itself, and I'm gonna tell you how we can fix it. And I suck at sleeping. Like,
Are you confident that this is going to fix it?
I told Earl this morning. Earl, preview real quick. I think I sold you over on a couple.
Is
of
it working?
He got some very creative ideas on how to fix NBA All-Star weekend in general. Not
Yeah,
just
because
the game
it's
itself,
gone from one of the pillar events of the league
yeah.
to really, like, why are we doing this?
The
anymore?
three-point shootout was the best. And then,
Well,
of course, Steph
yeah.
versus Sabrina, that was fun. But
That was fun to watch.
We're gonna talk
But
about that in a second.
Other than that,
yeah, it was.
when you got for the second year in a row, this is what would embarrass me if I'm a player. For the second year in a row, to me, what used to be the pinnacle event of the weekend was the slam dunk contest. Now it's like, I don't even know are they still doing it? The guy that's won the last 2 years isn't even a player in the league.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that motivate you if you're a player to say, I got to up my game? I can't have this guy coming in here and winning it for 2 years in a row.
The crazy part about it, the guy with the biggest name that was in the slam dunk contest really didn't impress at all. Jaylen Brown was not impressive at all.
Jaylen Brown was doing Sowers middle school dunks.
9-foot gold dunks.
I mean, these are.
Remember when we put the rim down to 9 foot and turn out
Grand
360
Grand
backwards?
Slam USA dunks like this dude. I mean, it was bad. I mean, he tried everything. They turned the court to the Boston Garden. Nobody cheered. Tatum came out in a King of the North polar bear white tiger ranger Jon Snow hoodie overcoat, trench mafia coat. This guy still didn't get no cheers from that, and they're like, "Listen, we don't really, yeah."
It's crazy how far that event has fallen.
Yeah, it has. It was cool though. He threw his brother's jersey on, his late brother.
Yeah.
Like for one of the dunks. That was the coolest thing about it. But the 3-point shootout, I told Mike it should be last. I think the 3-point shootout
Is
should
that
be
the pinnacle now for you?
Reggie Miller said the same thing.
Because you think about it, you had everybody in the first round score over 20, and then 26 seemed to be the magic number to get to the finals.
Right.
Like, to me, that was the most competitive event of
Yeah,
that night.
that at least is still compelling, but the slam dunk contest to me.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about it all. Then I'll give you my fixes. We're going to talk a little Browns championship DNA, the Guardians trying to explain to us why they didn't spend a lot of money, a little Imani Bates and LeBron James as well. But first, as always, if you're trying to score buckets in the second half of the NFL season, you can do so on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. You can bet on all your favorite NBA teams and players with quick bets, live same-game parlays, exclusive props, and so much more. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS and shoot your shot. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA, an official sportsbook partner of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. I got a 5-pack of questions for you guys on All-Star Weekend. Then we'll get to my fixes, but let's start with the 5-pack of questions. Donovan Mitchell, in the All-Star game itself, scored 9 points. Last season in Salt Lake City, he scored 40, played like his head was on fire. On Tuesday's Ultimate Cavs show, Jason and I talked about one of the differentiating factors between Mitchell and a lot of other stars in the league is he plays hard every time he's on the court.
He does.
Last night, decided to mail it in just like most players did. I'm not mad at Donovan, not necessarily disappointed, but I'll be honest, I was a little surprised that he didn't take it as seriously as he had in the past. Were you guys? Question number 1. Were you guys also surprised that Donovan played with as little effort as he did last night?
I think, was it a protest that he wasn't a starter?
Potentially.
I feel there's something there with that. I think he deserves to be a starter. I know we talked about this before the team was selected. At whose peril is he a starter? I just think that when I watch Donovan Mitchell play, yeah, he's a starter in the All-Star game. So I think part of it was in protest. And I also think, and I could be wrong on this, I think that there was a concerted effort by the players to do what they did last night. Let's go out and give them a practice show. Let's go out and nobody gives max effort. I think it was really an opportunity for them, and they took it to kind of embarrass the commissioner. That, I don't know, maybe I'm being too cynical. I just felt like that's what it was. So I can't blame Donovan Mitchell because I didn't see anybody giving effort and playing it like it was a game that they were taking even a smidge seriously.
Yeah, I think what they're trying to it's almost like they talk to the guys from the football NFL. It's like, y'all still playing All-Star games?
You're still trying in that?
Like, come on, bro. It's time to get rid of that. Like, that, to me, is what they should be doing is it should be rising stars. It should be, I like the men versus women stuff in the shootout. I thought that was the best. I thought that was the best part of the weekend.
From a drama standpoint,
from a drama
no
standpoint, I like that. And even Steph Curry, so here's the thing. Even when Steph Curry does that with Sabrina, it's crazy because they had already came to the conclusion that if Steph was in the regular three-point contest, it was unfair. They're like, yeah, well, Steph can't be in there. She's the best shooter of all time. Let him. I want to see more. I want to see more competition that way and more of something for the fans. But like I'm saying, to me, I'm kind of overseeing LeBron or any All-Star do anything. They could just hold up number 10s real hard and real high when some young guy does something cool.
Yeah. I can see where Jay is coming from as far as like it might have been a sense of pettiness from Donovan Mitchell as, I should have been a starter, so whatever. But I looked at it as like he got bigger fish to fry. He didn't exhilarate much effort. He really didn't play that hard. He really could care less. But I seen a video immediately after he got dressed and was leaving the arena of him talking about, back to the grind, back to work. We got business to take care of. So I think he represented the city of Cleveland well, but I don't think he really gave a damn about that. I think he's looking at this like, I got more important stuff to worry about. I got bigger fish to fry. Second half of the season starts Thursday against the Philadelphia 76ers. I can give a damn about this exhibition game. Let me go out here, play around for a little bit, but make sure that I'm not really, pressing the issue because we're chasing bigger things with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
I'm okay with that, too. I mean, last year, when you go all out in the All-Star game, really, what does it get you?
Nothing.
Nothing.
No,
Nothing
none of
at
that happened. It's like a tree falling in the forest and no one's there. Does it make a sound?
No.
Like, at the end of the day, what does this accomplish? Absolutely, positively nothing. What about, and this might be one of your things in the five, baseball tried this for a while, now it's gone. What if the winning conference gets home field in the NBA Finals?
Well, some of my suggestions when we get to it, Jay, are incentive-based that would hopefully make them play. So I'm gonna put a pin in that because I want to come back to that in a little. Let's get to the second question of the 5-pack of questions for All-Star Weekend. G, this one start with you. How big of a fan were you of Donovan coming out in the three-point shootout with the Money Merrill throwback Cleveland Cavs jersey? If you didn't see it, Steve, take tag board full. But he did a little homage to his guy Sam Merrill, who should have been in the three-point contest, wearing number 5 Money Merrill. How much did you like this move from our guy Spike?
I thought it was dope, man. Like, see, that's why Donovan is a cool dude. Like, he's a dude that is big enough for somebody who I felt should have been in the three-point contest. It was easy money to put him in there. However, I'm with Earl. I think the three-point contest has become the marquee thing. So now you got stars like, I'm actually surprised they put him and Jalen Brunson in. I guess because you look at it, Cat had won it last year as a big man. They could easily put Steph Curry or Klay Thompson in it every single year. I think this is, Dame Dollar is in it. He won it 2 years in a row now too. So I think that's the marquee, the marquee thing people come to watch, has the most suspense. But I like the fact that he's showing this man some love. Like, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully Sam Merrill, if he plays well in the playoffs and down the stretch, next year he'll be a part of it. And I think watching guys like Sam Merrill should be one of the reasons why people tune into these events to see younger stars and younger players do it.
Yeah.
First
Make
of
it
all-
a showcase for what's next.
Yeah.
That is like, that particular Cavs jersey is like top 3 and my favorite Cavs alternate jerseys of all times. Shout out to Spider Mitchell going out there repping the Money Merrill jersey. I think that it was a good way to show, you know, you're all in with the Cleveland Cavaliers. It was a good way to represent the city of Cleveland on a national level and just show some love to your teammate. You know, we have a lot of conversations ad nauseum about when does Donovan Mitchell leaving the Cleveland Cavaliers, but even if he do leave, we don't get this dude enough credit, I think, for just being a constant pro. Like, always showing that he's all in with the city of Cleveland, supporting his teammates. He's always on social media, giving Sam Merrill love, giving Jared Allen love, giving Imani Bates love. Like, he's showing that he's a part of this and he wants to be a part of this. And when you do things like that, like, it goes a long way and just, you know, increasing how much you're a fan favorite in this city, regardless of all of that.
You know, Earl, you just said something that made me think about that, man. I was watching this, and this is just me reading it. This is me looking at body language. I could be right, I could be wrong. For me, it don't seem like Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson strike me as the guys that's like, yeah, let me go just play with that guy. Jalen Brunson came in, was sitting on that bench, and he was in the three-point shootout, and he was all about business. Jalen Brunson was over there like, yeah, I ain't talking to nobody. I don't need to talk to nobody. Matter of fact, I'm cool. And then Donovan Mitchell was sitting next to him, and it wasn't like they was kumbaya. I think when I look at it as the season continues to progress on, it almost seems like Donovan Mitchell, you could go to New York, but is you really going to get the love? Like, let's be clear. They love Jalen Brunson in New York. And Jalen Brunson is trying to beat you. And he has been beating you. Now, all of a sudden, you're going to take a max deal to go what? Share the ball with Jalen Brunson? At least here, they'll give you the ball and you get the ball over anybody. Like, I think as you start to look at this thing progress, it's going to get harder and harder and harder for him to go to New York.
Well, there was a report over
thing.
All-Star Weekend that, you know, all these rumors that Donovan Mitchell wants out are not true. Now, we don't know the validity of that report.
Right.
We don't know, we don't know the validity of all the reports that he wanted out. A lot of people are talking about it, but we don't know.
I saw one report, or one. It wasn't a report. He was examining all the reports surrounding the Donovan Mitchell situation, and I'm drawing a blank on who it was, but I think it was. Who's the guy that writes in Dallas? Stein. I think it was Mark Stein for ESPN, and said all the narratives of Donovan wanting to leave are coming from rival executives. All the narratives that Donovan loves Cleveland are coming from inside Cleveland, which makes perfect sense.
Sure.
Inside Cleveland, they're going to push the he's happy narrative. Outside Cleveland, they're going to push the he's not happy. Pick and choose what you want to believe. Who knows the truth? But always when you see those reports, look where it's coming from, and you can kind of see the agenda behind any of it.
Yeah, and there was the other person that reported that Donovan Mitchell is fine here claimed that those rumors were also being started by another Eastern Conference executive. Look, the gamesmanship that goes on at this level is it's GM warfare. And rumors are floated, you whisper it in a reporter's ear, and it's like a game of telephone. You know, by the time it makes its way to a print report or to a broadcast report, it might be far different from what it was when it was whispered into someone's ear.
Yeah.
That happens a lot, especially at this level. Here's what I know. I would imagine that Kobe has sat down with either Spider or his agent and said, a lot of smoke out there. I want to clear it. I want to know, where's your guy? Is he here or is he halfway gone? That's going to help us in our decision-making moving forward. They have a right to know that. And so hopefully everybody's being a man, being forthcoming, and during that conversation, which I would have assumed happened before the All-Star break.
You would assume, yeah.
I would hope it did.
Before the trade deadline specifically.
That's what I meant, the trade deadline. And that there would have been a real come-to-Jesus talk. Where are you? Right now, February 1st, where is your mind?
Right.
Are you here for the duration of this contract, or are you already thinking about an exit strategy? Because we have a right to know. Don't write a Dear John letter the day before that all this goes down. Like, so where are we? And I'm assuming that happened, and I'm assuming that the Cavs were happy with the answer because they didn't do anything. They didn't try to move him. There was a lot of talk that maybe he was going to be moved. Nothing happened. There was some talk that maybe the Cavs would be interested in making another move. I'm wondering, to your point, G, if last year wasn't, when Donovan Mitchell at the end of the season didn't take inventory, he sat down and said, okay, let me go through in my mind in a little slow motion here what just happened in a blur. I came to Cleveland with a lot of fanfare. There were people that thought we could win a championship. We won 52 games. We flamed out awfully in the playoffs. He played very hard in the All-Star game and had a lot of people talking about his talents there. So my hope is when he took inventory, he said, okay, what really mattered? Did the regular season matter? No. Did the All-Star game matter? No. Did all the hype matter? Not really. The playoffs is how he's building his legacy now. We know him to be a great NBA player. Mm-hmm. He's, by some counts, a top 10 or top 15 player. If he's thinking legacy long term, does he really want to be that guy that plays for 3 teams in 6-7 years? 5 years, really, if you count his last in Utah, a couple here, it could be less than that. Or is he saying now that the pieces and parts look different in Cleveland, wait a minute, this is the team that can win it. And now maybe he's put to bed this notion of going to play for New York.
And that's what I was about to say. I think that, since he's been here, when we hear him talk, he's prioritized winning. He's always said, I just want to win. And I think he's done a great job of putting pressure on the Cavs organization to put him in a situation to have more success than he did in Utah and to win. And like you just alluded to, you look at the pieces that's in place now, you look at this team now, you look at the chemistry and how everything is going now. If winning is what this thing is all about, then you are more incentivized, in my opinion, to stay in Cleveland than you are to go to New York. You know what I mean? That's just me. Because if this thing is about winning, I think it's being proven that you can win here and that you can be one of the upper echelon teams in the Eastern Conference and in the entire NBA. We're past the days where, you had the LeBron James that was dominating this era. And I think super teams are still real, but I don't think super teams kind of like win championships the way that they used to. You need full teams like the Denver Nuggets did last year, and I think that's the trajectory of the NBA. And if you look at the Cleveland Cavaliers now, this is a very young, talented roster with a lot of upside being led by Donovan Mitchell. And I think if things continue to be how they are now, I don't see a reason why he would want to leave.
I think they'd be lying. I'm gonna be truthful with you.
Who's they?
I think the players be lying. Players are, yes, they're basketball players, but they have professions just like we do, right? When you choosing a job or you choosing a place to work, right? You look at a couple of different things. Are you making a lateral move or are you making a move up? A lateral move is like, okay, I'm gonna move from where I'm doing right now and go to another place that I don't know nobody.
Utah to Cleveland. Lateral?
Listen, that is actually, to be truthful, he thought it was a lateral move, but I think afterwards he found out it was an upgrade because he felt like when they had Rudy Gobert, they had hit a wall of what they could be with that team playing that style.
Right.
You get to Cleveland, now you're like, okay, well, let me see what we got. You got young bigs. You got moldable bigs that, Jared Allen and Mobley are going to play the way that the coach wants them to play. Like, they're moldable. They're not like they're not looking around like, hey, I'm the defensive player of the year. This is how I'm going to do it, or I'm James Harden or something like that. Also, they look at the money. The money, all right, am I going to get a max deal? Yeah, you'll get a max deal. Okay, how do I get along with the other best player on the team? Darius Garland seems to be very moldable, guy that does not have that dominant personality where you're going to clash heads with. Cool. Hey, how do I get along with my coach? Can JB play a different way? I think part of the reason he didn't get along with JB to start with was because he wasn't playing the way he wanted to. They go out, they do the 4 out, 1 in. They're successful. They're second in the East. And now you start to think like, oh, okay, well, let me look. If I do go to New York, you're not going to have all them pieces and parts they got right now because they got to get a Cavs something. So when you go and you get there, it's going to be you, Jalen Brunson, and some pieces, probably Julius Randle. That's it. All them rest of them first-round picks, all the rest of them little the scrappers and the rebounders and the 3-and-D guys, them is on their way somewhere else to make the deal work. So if you're a smart man, like I think he is, I think he's a highly intelligent guy, based on the way he talks and what he doesn't say, I think he looked at the paperwork and was like, well, lo and behold, Cleveland got a better roster. They got better younger talent. I got more control here. This fan base is really good. I could do my thing, and I think it's better than Utah. I think it's better than living in New York. And now he just seems to be more content because he's like, oh, I can win here. He just had to get the nasty taste out of his mouth from taking that L to New York.
Hopefully he did, and he's moved on. I mean, your point about the players lie, that's an interesting one. Sometimes I think players are emotional like everybody else. Like, the last thing you want to do is ask someone after a bad day at work, you happy with your job? Because you're going to get all the baggage they left the office with.
Right.
No, I'm not. My boss is a tyrant. It's like a sweatshop. I work 12-hour days. But ask them after Friday when they're just coming off a great work day and they're getting ready to go into the weekend. Yeah, it's pretty good. Like, so your environment sort of taints your impression of what's going on in your situation. And maybe early on he was unhappy and he spouted off to a reporter thinking that it was okay to do that, and the word got out there. Look, I think it takes care of itself. If the Cavs make a deep run in the East this year, he'll be back.
That's the bottom line. Cavs lose in the first round, everything's on the table. They make a deep run, I'd be surprised Donovan doesn't re-sign. All right, next question.
I agree with that.
Next question. This is from The Athletic. Steve, take tagboard full here. The NBA had 10 million unique viewers for All-Star Saturday across TNT, True TV, and Bleacher Sports on Max, up 54% from last year. Interesting note, viewership peaked with 5.4 million viewers during the 10:10 to 10:15 window, which was the Steph versus Sabrina three-point shootout. Earl, we'll start with you. Was that the best part of All-Star Weekend, and should it become a mandatory event at All-Star Weekends moving forward?
Man, yes and yes. I had a lot of fun watching Sabrina versus Steph, and I think going forward, you should incorporate an event like this every single year. Reggie Miller had this great idea of possibly Klay Thompson and Steph Curry versus Sabrina and Caitlin Clark. I think that would be pretty dope. I think when you see the jump in numbers from viewership, I think you're getting NBA fans, WNBA fans. I think you're getting supporters of women college sports, women high school sports that's tuning in to see this young lady do something that's monumental. I know that, my daughters was really locked in and tuned into this. This was their favorite part of the event. And to see Sabrina actually go out there and represent well, she did her league a lot of favors. Mm-hmm. And I think that she did a lot with the confidence boost of young women. She went out there cold, Jay. They're not even in season. 26 points from the NBA three-point line. And so, to me, this was the best part of the entire event. It was a lot of fun. And I think this is something that they should definitely continue to do going forward because the women's game is growing.
I agree with you on everything you said. Yes, they should make it mandatory. They should do it every year. I would almost like to see more inclusion of the women in All-Star Weekend. So here's what I have in mind. You have a tournament with the top 5, 8 shooters in the WNBA, mm-hmm. and you have a tournament with the top 5 or 8 three-point shooters in the NBA. And the grand finale to that is they meet in the finals.
Right.
And you could have a female winner. Now, there was some controversy this weekend. Was it Kenny Smith? Who made
Kenny Smith said he shouldn't have said that. I don't know why he said it.
Well, let's parse that out for a second because he got killed for saying it.
Oh, yeah.
About the ball she shot with?
No, she shot with the women's ball.
Three-point line.
He said she should have shot from the women's three-point line. And people lost their minds over that. But she's already shooting with the women's regulation ball. When they shoot threes, when you're in the gym and you're practicing threes. Now Steph is different. Steph is a completely different animal. The three is not a challenging shot to him, so he just extended his range. And when he shoots, he shoots from way behind the line.
Dame Lillard, too.
Dame is another one. He does that, too.
Yeah.
My guess is that the women, for a lot of different reasons, one of which being strength, when they shoot their threes, I'm guessing they shoot them toes on line or as close to the line as they can be. So on the surface, Kenny Smith was railed for his comment, but let's talk about that for a second. Does it make more sense to let the women in the competition shoot from the women's line and the men shoot from the men's line when, after all, they are using the smaller, easier to shoot with ball in the first place? So it's not like it's an apples to apples competition to begin with.
Shoot or shoot. I don't care. Shoot or shoot.
I don't think the women would ever do it. They want to go head to head and show that they can play.
Then why not use the men's ball?
Because that's an abridge too far.
Oh, I see. So they don't want to go all the way.
They don't want to go all the way.
I see.
We just I'm not trying to give all my advantages away. You want me to shoot with this ball too? Nah, I'm cool. I think they would never do it because that's the distance is what they're asking for, right? I think somebody they can sell yourself one. All right, well, their hands are smaller. Yeah, it's hard for them to palm a basketball. Yeah, let's go ahead and just let them get their money off. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing. I thought he was going to get in trouble when he was talking about playing with dolls and stuff.
Yeah, that was like, whoa.
I was like, hey, man, we don't, you know what I'm saying? We listen, you ain't go through that corporate compliance. You ain't go through that. You ain't go through that.
He missed that day at work.
You can't, hey, I ain't make no, hey, you ain't heard me say nothing about no toys or nothing. We forget that. But I thought he was going to get in trouble for that. But look, at that point, he was like, I think, what's the name, saved him a little bit. I think Ernie tried to say, we can move away from that. I don't know how much money they give Ernie just to move these guys away from landmines.
That's a very, very important job, especially when you share the set with Chuck. I was told many times in my role between Skip and Stephen A., you're their life raft. Don't let them dig down a hole they can't get out of.
Do not let them double down on something too crazy.
Double down on stupid. Don't let them do it.
They gave Sabrina the option to shoot from the women's three-point line.
I know.
She said, no, I want to shoot from the
and
men's.
Listen, that's admirable.
And kudos to her. Yeah,
I think I thought it was great.
She put up the second highest score of anybody.
Right.
The only person to beat her, men or women,
I think
that
what
night
I'll
was
ask it to you, Mike, because you're the one that's adamant about this. Shoot or shoot, shoot or shoot. Well, what if we gave him a ball that was even bigger? Shoot or shoot.
I mean, it's a harder shot taking a step and a half back from where the women's three-point line is, so it makes her score even more impressive. Granted, the ball is an inch smaller, which does give a decent difference in the amount of surface area.
In the shooter's shoot vein, why not use the regulation ball, the men's regulation?
But she doesn't practice with that. That's completely. It's one thing to shoot a three where you step back. If you're used to shooting with the women's ball, the men's ball is heavier, it's bigger, it's a whole different configuration on shooting. So
absolutely,
I think it's a more,
like I said,
a more natural
I
step
think
back.
Her shooting all of those shots from 18 inches back,
even more impressive,
changes it too. It's a different configuration. That's probably not where she tests her range from. That's probably not where when she's in the gym working on the three-point shot, she had to adjust, and that's a hell of an adjustment to make.
Earl, I know you're going to hop in on this in a sec, but in the WNBA All-Star game this previous season, she set the all-time three-point shootout record with 36 points shooting from the women's three-point line. So she can do it from the NBA range, WNBA range, shoot or shoot, she can shoot. And
by the way,
kudos to her.
If the league was smart, they want to capitalize on her popularity. Women's basketball right now to me, it's at an all-time pinnacle. I really think it is. With Caitlin Clark, with what's going on in the women's game in college. Now, but here's the thing. All of this interest in the college game, as Caitlin Clark and some of these other superstars that are playing in college right now make it to the WNBA, they're going to have more of a following than yesterday's stars brought with them because they didn't have that kind of attention. So if I'm the NBA, I am banking on Sabrina. Go check out her Instagram page.
Listen.
She has this girl has followers.
No, dead serious. About 7 years ago, and you did a story on this person I'm about to talk about. About 7 years ago, I absolutely fell in love with women's basketball. I remember going to Gilmore Academy and watching Naz Hillman hoop all the time, right? Yep. And as I started following her through her collegiate career, I uncovered people like Caitlin Clark, and I'm like, damn, this girl is a baller. I seen Naz drop 50 for Michigan against Ohio State, and the girl don't shoot threes. You see what I'm saying?
crazy.
Sure.
So like when you start paying attention, you see they're very competitive. They want to win and they want to prove themselves that, hey, we are real athletes too and we got this. And then with me having daughters that play basketball, I find myself more interested. And you're right, the game is growing, especially on a collegiate level. And you starting to see it transfer over into the WNBA. And if that league is going to ever have some real success, then I think that the NBA Commissioner Adam Silver needs to continue to do things like this to integrate them with these NBA stars.
To me, that was the success of the weekend.
Yeah,
was the
so that they
crossover
can
between the
so they
WNBA.
continue to get the recognition that they deserve.
And Gilbert Arenas had a very good take on this. Gilbert Arenas, I watch his show on the internet. Gilbert Arenas talks about how, the momentum in women's college basketball is right now, that those are the stars. Like, it's very rare. He said in the NBA, you got to wait your turn. You got to get up here and you get here and you keep going. And as you continue to get older, you continue to get, you have more fame, you have more accolades. He's like, but the stars are the girls that are in college right now.
No doubt.
They're making more money than they would make in college due to NIL than they're making in
I think I read that.
WNBA.
Where Caitlin Clark, is she making $7 million?
Yeah.
None of the NIL numbers are officially released, but she is making in the 7 figures for sure.
Yeah, well, I saw a report that said exactly what you just said. Why did Caitlin Clark stay? Well, that's simple.
She
She's
can stay
making
again
more
next
money
year,
at
by the
Iowa
way.
than she can make at WNBA.
She can stay another year.
There was a rumor that she was making around $7 million.
All I know is
if
I've
that's
seen
true
her
or
on
not.
State Farm.
Yeah, that's a big one.
The State Farm bag is legit. And the crazy part about it is they're not even in season, right? So they got to go across seas, get a bag, come back, and the season ain't even
for the WNBA players.
Ain't
Yeah,
even
no, that's
synced up.
true. Yeah.
So it's like, it's difficult, man. They got to do it. They got to get more support for
Now, the only
at
thing
that
is,
level.
Caitlin's the only one making that kind of money.
That's it.
That's it. There's one.
And
Now, there are other
Paige Beckers with their Gatorade deal.
girl from LSU.
Yeah, that's true.
There's
but,
two.
But Caitlin, I think in her, I don't know what the
They're not in
numbers
the same
are.
league.
When
but
you
those
break
two
the
are making
NCAA
more
Division
money.
I all-time scoring record, and it probably won't ever be broken again, you deserve every $1 million that you got.
That's right.
You was about to mention Angel Reese, right?
Yeah, she getting a lot of bread.
She's
She is
another
getting
one.
money.
She's getting a whole lot of money from these NIL deals, and rightfully so, because it's unfortunate that these women that's playing in the WNBA are not getting paid the way that they want to. And some people might be more passionate about it than others. I have a daughter with hoop dreams.
Wow.
So it's something that really, really I'm paying attention to.
Yeah.
It's something that I want to see happen.
She has someone to look up to.
Yeah, like-
Before we turn the page on this, Mike, I have a question for you because I don't know. I've never watched the WNBA All-Star game. Are they competitive?
I'll be honest. All I know is Sabrina broke the 3-point record because I saw it on Twitter. I didn't watch it. I have
Yeah.
I feel like anytime I
I'm
watch
just
women's
wondering-
hoops, I feel like it's competitive. That's
I do
just me,
too.
though.
I've never watched a WNBA game, which I've watched very little of their games. But when I've watched them, what I've come away with is like, man, these girls fight. They scrap. They want to win. And I don't know, maybe it's not that way in the WNBA All-Star game. Maybe they mail it in like the guys do now. But I'm anxious to hear, Mike, your 5 ways to fix this because it's broken.
We're going to get to that in 1 sec. 2 things on the last yes or no answer because I want to fly through this. Dunk contest officially dead, yes or no? We don't have
Yes.
to. Yes,
Has
okay.
been for
In,
me.
in the words of Jay Crawford, the dunk contest is dead to me.
Okay, and lastly, the NBA attempted their new LED court. Steve, you can take tagboard full, and you can play this. It was different colors. It was green for the 3-point shootout. It changed colors for the dunk contest. Were you a fan of the LED courts?
I guess G was.
Listen, I felt like that was the second best part of the show was finding out what they was going to put on the court. Now, look, I think that everybody need to go to these, and this is a good way of keeping people entertained between halftime. And between timeouts and team timeouts, I love the LED court.
Well, they didn't play the game on that, right?
No. They didn't play the game.
No, so my question is, that's what everybody looked like. Everybody had a
LEDG.
green tint to them.
He LEDG
My question
now.
is this. Here's my question.
I'm still shining.
They didn't play the game on it. Why? It can't feel like an NBA court.
No, it's
it
distracting.
can't.
It's distracting.
Aside from the distracting part of it, because to your point, if you could use it in half times and timeouts, that would be great.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine the ball dribbles the same on it. It's not wood.
Yeah, I didn't think of it like that.
Man,
but they did the dunk contest on it, so.
Well, again, it's not a game that you're not compromising the integrity of the dunk contest.
But you're jumping 50 inches and landing on it.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. But no, I'm not saying it doesn't have takeoff. But to me, I would imagine that every player that dribbled the ball on that court would say, "Oh yeah, it's dead. It's not the same." I've seen Steph Curry in pregame dribbling the ball around, going, "Nope, that piece of wood right there needs removed. It's dead."
I think it would be kind of playing if you're in the Cleveland area. If you know, if you play basketball. In high school, we used to play Cleveland St. Joe. And Cleveland St. Joe used to have this tile floor. It was gray. It's tile. It wasn't even wood.
It's like an elementary school gymnasium floor.
Via Angela St. Joe.
Okay, yeah.
You remember what I'm talking about?
They on 185th. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Man, we playing Villa Angela St. Joe, and I'm up here. We in layup line, and I'm like, this is a church community center court. They about to have
elementary school gym.
Yeah, this is praise and worship after this with the youth team. Like Pastor Fred is going to come up here and do praise and worship afterwards.
And everything's different. The reflection of the ball is different.
Crazy.
Everything is different. So I just think that I know it was a gimmick, and I know a lot of people, like, when they saw it, particularly younger fans, when they saw it, they were like blown away. That's the coolest thing I've ever seen. There was a cool factor to it, but Steve weighed in the chat, Director Steve, that everybody looked like the Wicked Witch from Wizard of Oz because everybody had that green glow from the light coming up on them. It was kind of odd.
I thought it was a cool feature. I don't know if I want it on a daily basis in the NBA, but for halftime entertainment and stuff, I definitely think there is potential benefits down the road.
It's a gimmick.
Integrating it in. Yeah.
Are any of you guys bowlers?
Yes.
Okay, so
I'm not.
I haven't bowled in a league in years and years and years. Once upon a time, I did, and I took it pretty seriously. When I went, I wanted to bowl 300 every game.
That's that you got have.
When my kids, we still like to bowl even now. Corey comes in, hey, let's go to the bowling alley and roll some games. When we go there and they've got the glow bowl where all the lights are turned out, it's like disco bowling, but the pins are lit. I'm like, oh, no. I ain't about to bowl no 300 in the dark.
All right,
the glow bowl.
It's a gimmick.
Cosmic
bowl.
Now, when you go to Cosmic Bowling, it's usually like 7 to 8:30, and you got a pizza party down there to the
all
left.
Chuck E. Cheese kids.
All the Chuck E. Cheese, and and usually they have synthetic lanes. Now, them synthetic lanes don't got no oil pattern on them.
No.
It's
not for serious bowling.
Look, they got the buddy bumpers out. I don't do that either. I'm like, if you want to fight, if you want to turn away somebody and see them get mad, come to Cosmic Bowling and you go up to that little front desk. I thought Cosmic Bowling was on Fridays. I came here to get a couple.
Can I get the lights turned on my lane?
Hey,
I don't like
so
bowling
funny
in the dark.
I'm a grown man. I got 2 balls, and guess what? Pause.
Pause.
But you do have to. That was crazy. That was.
G. Bush is not Lance Armstrong.
And I got my own shoes. And I carry it.
When you come with the over-the-shoulder rack and you got the double set,
rolling it like
and the glove,
listen,
and your own shoes, you're not here for Cosmic Bowling.
Listen,
no.
I just felt like that was like a Cosmic Bowling gimmick.
Hey, that was your best one. It was. It was your best one.
You got 2 balls?
Yeah, 2 of them. One is a straight one and one hook.
That's too much information.
But that is how. That the analogy is so crazy.
No, it is.
You're right.
It is. Yeah.
If you want to bet on G's bowling game, I'm sure FanDuel would have props if we asked them to. You could also bet on all your NBA action
we
with
need a
FanDuel.
UCSS bowling outing. Can we get that done
We
already?
can definitely do that. I think we can do that.
Okay.
FanDuel is America's
Open
number
it up
one
to the
sports
public.
book. Unquestioned, undoubtedly, and right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your team wins. You can bet on all your favorite NBA players, including the Cavs and teams and Donovan Mitchell and all of the above, with quick bets, live same-game parlays, exclusive props, and much more. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS and shoot your shot. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA. If you have a winning ticket, make sure you send it to us on Twitter as well to be featured on the show. Jay, you alluded to this before. I just slept like crap last night. I was thinking of ways to make NBA All-Star Weekend better.
Right.
And in the Olympics, I always thought in the Olympics, they should always have a regular dude participate in all the events just to show how much better the Olympians are than a regular person. So my idea to save the dunk contest, and you guys chime in, let me know how we could tweak this. I'm not sure exactly how we pick the Joe for this example, but I'm going to a pros versus Joes.
Right.
The Joes have to dunk on an 8-foot rim. The pros have to do it on an 11-foot rim. So G. Bush, for example, let's say Earl's a high flyer. Earl's got to do a dunk on an 8-foot rim. Jaylen Brown has to match whatever Earl did on the 11-foot rim. And there's a chance that Earl Malden beats Jaylen Brown at a dunk contest. It's city by city, so it has to be a representative of said city. So for
How do
this
you
example,
pick the rep?
that's what I'm saying. This is not exactly hammered out. These are the
How
broad
about you
details.
just do a sign-up amateur contest?
Perfect. And then if it's in Cleveland, the Cleveland representative would face the Cavaliers representative.
I'm in. I'll watch that.
And it's a pro versus Joe. 8. Maybe we have to raise it to 9 foot if it's too easy.
But 11 foot, bro, that is a...
Well, we've already seen they've done every dunk possible on a 10-foot rim.
That's
Let's raise
true.
the stakes. So it's an average Joe, regular dude, versus a pro, 8 foot for the, maybe 9 foot, maybe have to raise it up, versus an 11 foot. The NBA player has
Earl has
to
a
match
question.
the Joe, and that's how they win. Earl, what's your question?
9 foot, I'm coming from the free throw lane, between the legs, reverse 360 tomahawk.
You can't even dribble between the legs.
Don't matter. It don't matter. I'm
It's
gonna
not
be in the
dribbling
air.
when you're in the air.
I'm gonna be in the air like this. I'm gonna be in the air.
Actually, McNuggets, if you watch, there's a channel online called Ball is Life. They got street ballers and guys like that. And they have these dunk contests where they be dunking, doing all kind of crazy stuff. Here's the thing. Those guys can do it on 10-foot rims. Like, these dudes are the best dunkers in the world. For a long time, people used to think that the best jumpers and dunkers were in the NBA. That's not necessarily true. There's guys out there that can really, really fly.
Me.
Earl, look, give Earl that trampoline. He ready to go.
I can fly. I can't dribble, but I can
Some
fly.
of the players said the best part of NBA All-Star Weekend was the high-flying, the two teams that brought
The
their high-flying
Pacers
dunkers.
and the Nuggets, I believe.
Pacers Pacers were one of them. Like, can you imagine that? One of the players said,
Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis. The best part was the intermission dunkers.
Well, see, here's how they,
Man, that's an indictment on your All-Stars.
here's how they got to do it, though. This supposed to be a year-long thing, bro. You have to obviously tape it in the summertime or whatever, but you would tape it where you would be going through these regional finals and stuff, and you would have different cities represent different cities. Like, you would have a Oprah run in Chicago, Oprah run in L.A. You would tape it. You would follow the lives of these people and be like, let's get to actually know these people. Put it on TV and then play it after one of your games. Like, play it after a TNT game, the Suns versus the Wizards or something, and you could play it. So then people at least get to know about it, know about these individuals, right? Because you put it on TV. And then you always make it better with the bag. Like, you talking, if you want somebody to care, give them life-changing money. Say it's $2-3 million.
Gee, we're getting to the incentives. Don't worry. That's part of my big plan.
I
But I like your idea.
I thought of that too.
I like your idea, G.
Like, it just be, I got to tell you, I know that the NBA is saying that these are huge numbers. They're up 54%. 10 million views
Not a lot.
for the tentpole event of the midseason
The
for
first
the NBA
weekend
All-Star.
without football, too.
That's abysmal, guys.
Yeah.
Shannon Sharp has almost 20 million views just interviewing Cat Williams.
Yeah.
And there were no dunks.
No dunks at all.
Oh, no, wait, there were dunks.
There was multiple
There were
dunks and helmet-to-helmet contact.
That's true. He dunked on everybody.
Stay away
All
from
right.
Club Shay Shay. True, man. You got to stay away from Club Shay Shay,
Next
man.
up, the
He doesn't
three-point
play.
shootout's the best part of NBA All-Star Weekend right now, but here's how you make it better. Instead of racks that they just take the ball off and shoot, we have passers and you get closed out on. And each shot, so your first closeout is like a 5'5" guy. Your second closeout, 5'10". Third, 6'2", fourth, 6'5", and you get almost a 7-footer closing out. I want to see these guys shooting under pressure, under a time limit. You got to deal with a bad pass here and there. I like the three-point shootout, but I think you add passers and
I would be
closeouts
for that,
of
too.
increasing height
I
increments.
thought this was the best
would be
idea
fun.
he had.
Yeah, I would 100% be for that.
Can I add something to it?
Of course.
I like the stakes to be a little bit higher. I would like you to be in a canine police dummy outfit, and then the closeout is a canine Ren 1010.
Man, what?
Now you have to get paid. Like
Now I'll watch that.
Now listen, can you imagine Steph Curry with the dummy suit with the they got the arm that like, but now you got to close out, and the dog is coming at you. You know, be like this. You got to close out.
Now
He
that's
side
pressure.
dribble. Yeah, that's pressure for you know what? If they hit jumper sidestepping canine dogs, I'm watching it.
Yeah, I'd
That's
probably
fun,
watch
G.
that.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right, the skills competition was an abomination. So we're just erasing it completely.
terrible.
We're going to have these guys just play horse. I don't know if you saw Luka hit 2 50-foot rainbow shots. You had Steph hit it from the crowd. Just play horse. That'll be more entertaining. Trust me. We don't have to talk about that. The All-Star game, it's never going to be a race completely. In a perfect world, it'd be a 1v1 tournament. Winner gets $2 million. Will never happen, but that would be best. So because we know
Yes, sir. That's a great idea.
It'll-
Is it 3 dribbles?
we do whatever we want. 3 dribbles, 2
Three
dribble.
dribble max.
I prefer 3 dribble personally, but whatever they want. But we know the game's not going away, G.
There'd be hands thrown in that.
That game,
Because now individual pride is on the line.
Yes.
you could like that game. I don't see how Kevin Durant loses. I mean, go watch if you want to watch that. Go watch the USA basketball team.
Him, Kyrie. Yep.
Yeah.
Great video.
It's funny, before you continue, Mike, it was one play during the All-Star game. Kevin Durant was one-on-one with Dame, and he took him to the rack, and he told him, he said, "You too little."
Yeah, he did.
He was like, "You too little."
And then Dame came back with a half-court step-back 3.
Yeah.
The one-on-one thing is the real fix. The NBA will never do it, but that is the one real fix. So because I know they're never getting rid of the game, I have 4 suggestions to
What
fix
about
the
a
game.
half-court shooting competition? These aren't chucks anymore.
I'd watch that.
They
And
can stand there and shoot these things and make them.
You're on my wavelength, Jay. Trust me,
Okay.
I'm getting to that. So this is how you fix the All-Star game itself. It's not going to go away. You want to make it better. I have 4 ideas. 1, you allow players to gamble on it, and they have to tell you what they gambled on before. So let's, for example, Dame Lillard.
Yeah,
bets
that'll
on-
never happen.
Bets on these are never going to happen. This is how you make it more fun. Dame Lillard, I bet over 32.5 points for myself. But they have the tickets up on the bottom of the screen, so you know exactly what they bet on. All right, let's say Dame's playing defense on Tyrese Maxey. He bet Tyrese Maxey under 14 points. It's in the 4th quarter. Maxey's sitting at 11. We get some built-in defense. If you knew what these guys gambled on, and they had to publicize, make 2 bets each, and you knew what they were playing for, it would add a level of competitiveness and excitement from the very first tip
Yeah.
to the end. Never going to happen.
No, and
but
I
this would
I
be
think
fun
that's
as hell.
a horrible idea.
It'd be fun as hell.
Okay, it might be fun, but
G, what do you think?
Yeah, they're not gambling. I'm gonna put the wager out. There's stupid football dudes that do it in real life, like they ain't gonna get caught. Like
I know.
that's
Well, they'd be allowed. This would be the one-day exception where you're allowed.
yeah, I think it's a horrible precedent to set.
Take this heroin, only one day allowed.
Yeah.
Man,
Now I know
what?
Adam Silver was the
What is
the
going
first
on
commissioner
here?
to embrace
Pineapple.
gambling, but he's not going to put his arms around it like that. What about this, Mike? What about a best shot contest?
Like horse.
No, one shot. Everybody's got one shot. You know, however many people come in, and so it's 10 feet behind the goal, and I'm going to make it. It's 10 rows up from half court, Globestotter trial.
That's
horse.
Great. That's great.
No, it's not horse because horse is a game of multiple shots.
Oh, so like a one-letter horse, essentially.
It's just, and then everybody gets a jut. Everybody, first of all, if you don't make it, I guess it wasn't a good shot. So everybody that makes their shot, their impossible shot, then you get a score once you make the shot. And so let's say it's Steph, and he's standing under the goal opposite of the one he's shooting on. And from a set push position, not a run, he makes it. That's unbelievable. That's incredible. I'll give that a 10. You know, so based on the difficulty of the shot, the judges can award a score. I would like to see from a creativity standpoint, because the dunk contest, it's all been done.
I'm for using that to replace the skills competition, the dunk competition.
Okay.
But these next ones are just on the game itself.
All right.
To make the game better. Second idea to make the game itself better. We saw the in-season tournament work because they paid everyone $500,000.
Mm-hmm.
It was part of the regular season. I know it's not apples to apples. How about every player on the winning team gets $1 million, the MVP gets $9 million.
$9 million.
$20 million. So winning team gets $20 million, $9 million to the MVP, which gives you a massive incentive to try hard to
Yeah,
win
but
MVP.
isn't everybody going to be just never giving the ball up then?
So what's going to change?
Well, there's some sharing going on. Not much.
Maybe assist counts more in the voting.
I don't know.
But if you had a $9 million pot for
10
MVP,
10. It's every man for himself.
I'm just saying. I'm trying to think of ways to make this game better. You put $9 million on the line for the MVP, G, I think we're going to see a much better product.
I think what they should do is I think every player should sponsor a family. And like based on how you play or what you so how I would do is if you all the stats count, right? You make it where like, hey, if you get a double, this family gets this amount of money, right? If you plan for somebody and you know they ain't got it, you'll play hard. You'll like because you're like, well, I'm already rich, bro, but like if I could get this family $1 million, like, you know what I'm saying? If everybody sponsor a player like on the team, and they know for a fact they didn't read their story, like you can make it crazy where like that family's gonna get $1 million based on if you won or not. Be like, man, I'll play hard as heck.
I would hope they would, but
Money.
who knows?
That's a creative idea. I think the best way to do it, which would never happen, the best way to make the game ultra competitive and you getting 100% max effort, like if you can have a conversation with God first and say whoever is on the losing team, if y'all lose by more than 6, you die tomorrow. Bet your ass will be playing hard.
He's out here playing.
Earl went a little further
Out
than
here
I
playing
did.
the Hunger Games.
He went to the Salvation.
Bet you'll play hard, yeah.
Like, that's some crazy.
My last two ideas, Jay, you alluded to half-court shootout. I want 4-point lines and 5-point lines.
I'm
in the
down with
All-Star
that.
Game. 4-point is from 30 feet, and then 5 points essentially from half court.
Or
and
beyond.
just add that to the game, make it more fun. We already see Dame pulling up from half court with ease. It would turn into a lot of guys chucking, which may not make it better, but at least there's a little more incentive.
That'd be hard to watch if you got dudes just shooting fives
Yeah.
all day.
So if you mean to tell me this cat McNuggets is trying to make this rock and jock b-ball. Remember the 25
it's awfully
point,
gimmicked.
the 25-point shot that used to come from the rim for down from the ceiling, right?
Yep.
Here's the thing too. I would tell it like I would have another rim. If you're gonna gimmick it out, just make it all gimmicky. I would pull a side rim out and have it at 11. Have it at 11 feet. And then
6 points.
For that dunk is worth 10. If you dunk it on a 10 on a 12-foot rim, we give you.
Could you imagine the defense not knowing which goal to defend?
That's crazy, right? Because you going baseline, you could just be like, "Oh my gosh, they thought he was going baseline, but he dunked it."
An idea that didn't make my list was playing with 2 balls. And
Pause.
Yeah, you.
I mean, having
why
two
would you
basketballs?
even like? Why would you even come after me like that?
I know. After
what is
G's,
good?
two
Pineapples.
well,
pineapples.
having just 2
excursion.
basketballs in play at all time,
Okay.
and having teams try to figure out. But here's what I really think would be the best solution. I genuinely think this is the best way to go about
I'm not listening to you no more. I'm
it.
being
Instead
totally
of East
honest.
versus West, instead of captains, let's do Team USA versus Team World. So this year,
No, that I would watch.
So this year, for example, based on All-Stars this season, Team USA would have been LeBron, Durant, Steph, Anthony Davis, and Donovan Mitchell
Yep.
versus Jokic, Luka, Giannis, SGA, and Embiid. That's your starting 5s for Team World and Team USA. You're telling me you're not going to watch that? And granted, it's an All-Star game. They're not going to play super hard, but I have to imagine if it's Team USA versus Team World, they give a little bit more effort. And
there's more interest.
Exactly.
Like, even if you're not a fan of watching the All-Star game, and, look at the Olympics. We don't know ass about curling, but if you tell us that USA and Canada are in the curling finals, next thing you know, we're all curling experts.
Facts.
We don't know what a triple sow cow is, except for
Facts.
during the Olympics.
Facts.
Because when you put a USA flag on it, then it becomes patriotic. And there is that's a great idea, Mike, because there is a real rift going on right now about the NBA being taken over by European players and just international players. So maybe they can capitalize on that. And if you're not playing that game with pride, I would be stunned.
McNuggets, I would tie everything that they do into a formula for all NBA. I would like, that goes from how many games you play. What did you do? Did you make the All-Star team? What did you do in the All-Star game? The mid-season tournament, did your team make the championship? Did you win it? And I would have every single thing that those things moving towards whether you make All NBA or not, because All NBA to me is like it is a creative thing that the league has. It's not the MVP or Defensive Player of the Year, but All NBA dictates how much money you actually do make. Like it's like, oh, you like if you haven't made a first or second All NBA team, that's a big thing for some people. Like I make it all incentivized to say, all right, well look, if you want to be an All NBA, you better play hard during an All-Star game because this counts.
They did World versus Team USA for the Rookie Rising Stars Challenge a few years ago. They got rid of it, and now they have the G League.
Why? Do you know that? Why?
They want to incorporate the G League, and they end up getting more players this way.
Yeah.
But they did it for.
How did it go when it was World?
It was more competitive, but the Rising Stars Challenge is always more competitive because it's young guys who are in the All-Star game. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's an exact apples to apples.
Sure.
But I do think, especially with how much talent
Which
there
team
is.
won?
I think it was pretty back and forth, to be totally honest. I'll double check by the end of the show. I don't have it in front of me, but I think it was back and forth. There have been some really good, like Luka played on the international team when he was 16 or whatever, and that's when the NBA scouts got their first, holy crap, this guy's going to be special look. But there's so much international talent right now. I think if you did split it up, there'd be more competition, and who wouldn't want to see the best Europeans and around the world players versus the best the Americans have to offer? Like it'd be kind of fun. So those are my options, my ideas to fix NBA All-Star Weekend. They'll never happen, but always fun to speculate. We're going to talk a little Browns now, guys. And before we do that, if you're looking to gamble responsibly and do it with FanDuel, because it is America's #1 sportsbook. And right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your team wins. You can bet on all your favorite NBA teams and players with quick bets, live same-game parlays, exclusive props, and much, much more. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS and shoot your shot. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA. So last week, Daniel Jeremiah, who does a podcast with Bucky Brooks, Bucky's come on the show. Bucky's been phenomenal. If you guys don't listen to the Move the Sticks podcast, I would highly recommend it for your football needs. They do a great job covering the NFL. They started their Championship Foundation offseason movement, and they just did the AFC East. They have not done the Browns yet. And, Steve, you take tag board full just to show everybody what we're going to base our next exercise off. So they ranked individual players. This is for the Dolphins on a 4-part scale to determine if they have a championship foundation or not. They use colors. Blue is for a blue chip player. Green is for good. Yellow is age, injury, or contract concerns. And pink is unproven. Red, which is not on the key, is we don't have an answer. So we're going to do this for the Browns, except instead of doing it for specific positions, we're going to do position groups just to make it a little easier, so we're not going to go through 56 players. But do you guys understand the parameters of how we're grading, or I guess categorizing, the Browns and their championship foundation? Jay, G, Earl, we all on the same page with how we're going to do this?
I think so, yeah. I mean, that's not the way I would have done it.
The names are kind of like, okay, all right. I get the gist of what they're saying.
We're going to figure this out.
So we'll do it together. So we'll start with the quarterbacks for the Browns. Would you
I just don't understand why they didn't do it like on a point system. Rate them all 1 to 5. Rate the GM, the coach, the quarterback, and then other players. You know, your best wide receiver, your best running back, and you get 1 point if you're not very good, 5 points if you're the best, and then get a point system, and the top points are.
Well, let's do it this way today, and
Okay.
later in the week we'll do a point system, and then we should actually compare these to other AFC North teams, just to see where the
Right.
4 teams in
And
the
I
AFC
like
North
Jeremiah
all stack
too. I
up.
think he's great,
Yeah.
but
So today we're going to follow their lead, and
we're
maybe
going- so we're
later in the
going
week we'll do
colors.
points. So blue is blue chip, top of the line.
Okay.
Green is a good player. Yellow, age, injury, or contract concerns, so question marks. And then pink is unproven. So pink's the worst, blue's the best. Essentially 1 to 4. G, if you want to
I
do
see
1
what
to
you're
4,
saying.
we'll
That's
color code it
so
for
crazy
you.
the way they
We'll
did it.
color code it for you. But let's start with the quarterbacks for the Browns. It's Deshaun Watson, it's DTR, and it's insert third quarterback if they decide to sign one. On this championship foundation scale, would you grade the Browns quarterback room as a blue chip room, a good quarterback room, an age, injury, contract concern room, or as unproven and young?
Man, that's yellow. This is like Uno. This is a yellow reverse draw 2. DTR is young and he got hurt, so I don't know. And he didn't he played well in a couple of games, I guess, or medium, and then he played really bad against, some really good teams like the Ravens. Deshaun Watson isn't really unproven. He's had some good in his past.
But he is a question mark.
But he is a question mark because of all three things you said. Is not the age, but is his injury, it's the contract, and it's his availability. So I would give it a yellow.
I mean, for me, I would give it a yellow as well. I think that DTR is unproven, had the injuries. I think with Deshaun Watson, it's the injuries and, a question of whether he can overcome the mental hurdles to match what he still can do physically. So I would definitely give it a yellow as well.
Yeah, I would go yellow too. The thing that I would say on this, when you're talking, I think this is obviously the most important chip on the board in building a championship. And to me, I would ask this question: proven or question mark? Because I think that's what you can basically boil all 32 NFL quarterbacks into that category. Now, there's levels to them, but you've either proven that you can take a team to the playoffs, take multiple teams to the playoffs, or you're a question mark. And at this point, unfortunately, because he's so far removed from taking a team to the playoffs, I got to say that he's a question mark. So yellow is, I think, the only appropriate way to go here.
Can we do a poll with these side by side with the chat?
We could try to get them. And sort of tag board through this, so we're shorthand with our lap there. But
I'm trying to figure out what the fans have.
Well, the chat can't have him as a blue chip. The quarterback says blue chip.
Do you want me to ask about Deshaun specifically, G?
Yeah, well, yeah, you get.
Yeah,
it goes blue, green, yellow, and then
pink,
then pink and then red.
I think yellow is
Yeah,
fair.
I think
it's
yellow's
probably
fair.
like 2 or 3 blue chips on the entire roster.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that. I would give Amari Cooper blue chip. I would give Myles Garrett a blue
Nick
chip.
Chubb,
Nick Chubb a blue chip. Probably Denzel
Batonio.
Ward. JOK is, for me, man, JOK is the guy all of a
He
sudden.
came up.
I think I could put him as a blue chip, but other than
We
that,
put it as a poll, G, so we'll give it a
see.
few
Okay.
seconds, and then we'll
I would be shocked if the poll doesn't say that he's a blue chip.
Yeah.
Because that's how the chat rolls.
We're gonna see. I think the chat gonna have him as a yellow. I don't think they're crazy today.
I think if they're fair, they'll have him as a yellow.
So we have as a yellow. That's a clean sweep across the board. Let's go to the running back room for the Browns. Not just Nick Chubb, the running back room. You have Chubb right now. You have Jerome Ford, Pierre Strong. Kareem Hunt is no longer part of this running back room. He's a free agent. So for the sake of this, Chubb, Ford, Pierre Strong. Is that a blue chip running back room, a good running back room, an unproven / injury concern / age room, or is that too young to be able to be graded?
I think it's easy. That's a blue chip room because you have Nick Chubb.
But what
Like,
about the injury?
I'm coming.
The
I
injury
like that.
doesn't.
I like that.
The
like blue
injury,
chip?
the
No.
injury to me
I
doesn't
don't
really bother me because it's 2024 and I understand medicine and surgeries is much more advanced than it was 20 years ago.
Right.
And I kind of view Nick Chubb in the same light that I used to Adrian Peterson.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Indestructible.
From a skill standpoint, from a training standpoint, and we seen AP kind of bounce back from a serious injury on the back half of his career and still came back and ran hard as hell and was successful. So for me, it's a blue chip room simply because you have Nick Chubb. No shade or no offense to Pierre Strong or Jerome Ford. I don't give a damn about that. Nick Chubb don't need a running backs coach. Nick Chubb don't whatever. Like, he's Nick Chubb. That's
Yeah,
enough
boy.
of the room to be blue chip. Just
Earl,
by
I
itself.
love your faithfulness. I do. For me, with his position, his age, and his injury, I think he falls more into the yellow. Now, maybe I could make an argument for bringing him up into that middle category, but it would be easier for me to do that if I had seen something this year from Strong or Ford that made me say, there's something here. But to me, they just seem like run-of-the-mill guys, and I just don't know what Nick Chubb's going to do.
So the yellow category, according to the Move the Sticks chart, age concerns. Jay, are you concerned about his age?
Well, yeah, and he's aged out as a running back in terms of the average running back. Now, he's not average, so I don't think he's, I don't think he's done, but age is a concern. He's not 23 anymore.
So
Injury is, we don't need to speak to that. We know he's injured. He had the worst injury that you can have.
And contract's the third one.
And contract is the third one. So for me, he fits most of those check marks. And like you said, you don't really care about Strong and Ford. They didn't move my needle enough to upgrade the room. And because of that, I'd put them as a yellow.
So we have a yellow and a blue. G, where do you fall on this
man,
one?
as much as this hurts me,
It kills me to say that.
I gotta go yellow, and it ain't no like regular yellow. This is like a deep yellow.
No.
This is like dehydrated yellow. Like,
See, I'm closer to the middle one.
Jay Canary yellow.
I'm canary yellow.
I am
Just because I love Nick Chubb so much.
I'm that yellow. We'd be like, man, you need to drink more water. Your urine is not supposed
jaundice.
to smell. Yeah, your urine's not supposed to smell like that, son.
Asparagus pea.
Yeah, something
That is
wrong with
real.
y'all.
Had a lot.
Y'all out of pocket.
That is acidity in that. What's going on? Let me just read you this, man. Nick Chubb had a diagnosis of a dislocated knee, 3 torn ligaments, posterior cruciate ligament, which is the PCL, medial collateral ligament, MCL, and a cartilage damage. Now, let me give you this. That wasn't when that report ain't from the Cleveland Browns. That report is in 2015 from the Georgia Bulldogs. So when you talk about levels, he done already had major surgery. Then you come back, and then he's 27 now. He tears his ACL. He tears his LCL. Now think about it. I done had 2 ACL surgeries. Jaden had 3 ACL surgeries. It's just different. The medicine is great and lovely, but like they always tell you, it don't never really come back the way it came. But like it's just different.
For me, I don't know about you. For me, the biggest difference was between the first and the second.
Yep.
Even though I retore it 15 months after I tore it originally, my knee felt great.
Oh, it was good.
And I was past the psychological part of it. Maybe that's why I tore it again, and maybe I was doing too much too soon. But for me, when I came back from my second one, I don't feel like the same leg. I feel like I have someone else's leg.
Oh, so for me, I tore my right one, then I tore my left one. I was completely ready to go with this one. I just made a cut and this one blew out. So when you're correct, this knee, shout out to Dr. Ray Tessner, but this knee, like I said, this is somebody else's. Like
it feels different.
It's a weather machine. It'll swell up when it wants to. I can't work out for more than 4 days in a row. I always have to get it drained.
Can't run on concrete.
Surfaces hurt, different shoes hurt. And it's basically now you're dealing with the arthritis stuff. So what I'm saying to people is he already had a surgery, catastrophic surgery. Then let's be clear. 2020, he missed 6 games with a knee surgery.
Yeah.
When he was at his peak. So he's had 3 knee surgeries. I can't really say that he's going to just be peachy keen. The only reason I gave it a yellow was because he's that good. Because I don't even think Jerome Ford, I think he's a serviceable guy, but I'm not putting no eggs in no basket of Jerome Ford.
Well, maybe I'm too optimistic, or I'm just looking at this glass half full. But before the injury, and even still now, I hear what you're saying about 2015. But Nick Chubb has still recovered. He recovered and has had a great career up until this point.
So it's fair to compare him to Adrian Peterson.
And that's what the point I was getting to. Even before this injury, we've been talking a lot about contracts, his age, the position he played. And I've always asked myself, do I view Nick Chubb as in that rare air with Adrian Peterson? And if I do, then for me, he's going to always be the exception to the rule.
Right.
And this is just me. To me, he's the exception to the rule.
Sure.
I love the way he plays the game of football, how he carries himself, how he trains, etc. I don't know Nick Chubb's body, right? And we all react to surgeries. I've never torn anything, but we react to surgeries. We react to being sick. We react to medicine all differently. Sure. There's no one way that we recover from things.
No, but there is a standard.
Right. So I'm just saying.
But you're right.
In this same light, just like Adrian Peterson, he could be the exception, just like Adrian Peterson was.
Yeah, and I hope to God you're right.
I just think Nick Chubb is that dude on so many levels, and I have faith, even if he doesn't even if he's not ready for the first or the second game of the season, whenever Nick Chubb does take that field, I think he's going to be 100% ready, and I think that he's still going to have a significant impact.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I want more than anything for him to return to form and be that guy again. I know that the odds after 1 go down considerably. The odds after 2 go down even more than they did after the first one. So, but if there's a human in the league that can do it, it's Nick Chubb.
Yeah, and like Jay, I feel what you're saying, and I know we're going to get into this later, but like when I did the Ultimate 216 show this past week, I talked about your journey being your journey. Like, we know what the standard is. We know what traditionally happens, this, that, and the third. But if somebody told me there's a 98% chance, Earl, that you can't do this, I'm going to bet on that 2% chance I can get it done no matter how hard that task might be.
Yeah.
So
We asked the chat about Deshaun Watson. 56% agreed with him being in the yellow category right
interesting.
now. So I'm going to put up the Chubb one. We'll get you the Chubb results in a sec.
A symbiotic relationship, me and the chat.
Well done, chat. I mean, look, no one's taking any pleasure in handing out yellows. It sucks,
Just
but
being realistic.
the idea of this exercise is
I actually like the way they
like it.
posed it.
Okay.
Now that I look at it, because they give you a lot of reasons you could be a yellow.
but what I don't like about it, if you use a number system, you can add them all up, divide by 3 or 4, or however many categories,
It's
and get
easier
an
to
average.
compare
You
team to team
want
with the numbers. Yeah.
number.
I want that's my analytic mind.
I
want a number.
You are 7.2, ma'am. That's it.
Speaking of
don't give me
numbers-
green. I don't know what that means.
Speaking of numbers, Jay, let's go to the wide receiver room, who outside of Amari Cooper left a lot to be desired. Tight ends are its own category. So David Njoku is not. This is not pass catchers.
All right.
Just receivers. Is this
So
the blue
blue-
chip room? A green room, which is good. An age, injury, or contract concern room, yellow, or pink, unproven / young.
Man, see, this is such a mixture.
This the tight end.
This is where the numbers come. I like the numbers more. This one's a tough one.
because you
This
got
one's
Amari
really tough.
Cooper, who is clearly a blue. And then you got everybody else who is clearly a pink.
Yeah.
So I don't know what blue and pink make.
I think blue and pink means that's an A mixed with a D.
Okay.
Minus. So therefore you get around somewhere average. Maybe.
So maybe not green, but are you yellow?
Oh yeah, you definitely yellow. It's like
But with Amari Cooper, I see it.
I'm able to go. We'll adjust this. We could go greenish yellow. If you think it's on the low end of green, high end of yellow, we could go
let
greenish
Earl speak
yellow.
once, because maybe Earl thinks they're blue. I don't know.
unripened bananas.
Ripe banana?
Right, like unripened
Yeah,
bananas.
yeah,
Like, yeah. You kind of like
a too early to eat banana.
Yeah, there you
jeez. My
boy,
God.
it's kind of crunchy a little bit.
Jiminy
Oh.
Christmas.
I
I
think
hate those.
it's not an option, but blue and pink makes purple. So they're purple.
Okay.
Because Amari
All right.
Cooper is a blue chip. Everybody else is unproven. There's nobody else in that wide receiver room that I can take to Chase
But
Bank
for the
and
sake
cash
of this,
that in as
yes,
a check.
but for the sake of this exercise, we've got to pick a
You
color
gotta-
for the whole
yeah.
room.
Purple.
And the rest of the room is bringing him down
Hold
hard.
on. I thought David Njoku was in this group.
No,
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 he's
tight end is a
tight
separate category.
Tight ends, its own cat. We're doing tight ends next. This is just
So
the wide
I can give
receivers.
tight ends a blue.
Now we on UCSS, we making our own color. They purple.
I will, if the jury agrees, I'm fine with
But
purple.
then how do we use their standards?
Oh, Jay's right, because we're going to compare this to when they put it out.
right.
So we have to stick to this for
What's
the sake
under
of it.
yellow?
Green.
No,
Oh, no,
under yellow
pink.
is pink, unproven and young.
And see, more of the receiver room is unproven and young.
The majority of them, I gotta go with that.
You got to go pink.
They got pink.
I'm sorry, Amari. Then I got to go pink too.
Yeah,
Because the
me
wide
too.
receiver room is 6 or 7 deep, and he's the only one.
The only
Yeah, you're
one.
right. You're right. I mean,
would-
you got a blue chip, and then you got a whole bunch of I don't knows.
And just so everyone listening, if you're just tuning in or you clip this later, we're going to compare this back to when they released the Browns. So that's why.
What are
that's
they
why
doing
we're
it this
stick-
week?
They did all 4 AFC East teams on Thursday.
Okay.
It's a once a week pod, so it could be. I'm not sure what division's next, but I'm sure
Well,
they'll do
if they
division
go
by division.
east to west, then we're next.
We should maybe
I mean,
they
you
go
could go
NFC
south.
East.
You could go south
Who knows?
next.
But when they do release it, we're gonna come back and compare, which is why
Okay.
I want to stick to this.
Here's the best way to put it, because we just had the same conversation amongst the running back group, right? Jerome Ford might not be all that, but I know Jerome Ford is a home run hitter and he scored touchdowns. I think Jerome Ford,
Is he?
He's a home run hitter and he scores touchdowns. A lot of his plays were big plays, right? So what I'm saying,
I don't know. Were they?
What I'm saying is
he made some.
Right,
I
some.
wouldn't put him as a. To me, he was.
This is the point I'm trying to
grinder.
make. This is the point I'm making.
All right.
When it comes to the second best in each position group,
Okay.
I trust Jerome Ford more than I trust
Yeah.
the second best wide receiver on the Cleveland Browns.
Well, and that's the way we have him rated. We have yellow
better.
for the running backs and
Right.
pink for the receivers.
Right.
He's better at his position than Elijah Moore or at
You know what it
Bell.
almost looks like? It almost looks like, because Jason always says GMs earn their money on the fringes, not on the stars. It looks like the model that the GM for the Browns has used, and I don't know, you can kind of look at this and see it. You've got a really, really good player at every position, but not a lot of depth.
Yeah.
So you've got Myles Garrett and then a whole lot of guys.
Yup.
You've got Amari Cooper, then a whole lot of guys. You've got Nick Chubb, then a whole lot of guys. Where the San Francisco 49ers have taken it a different way, and instead of doing it Andrew Berry's way, they've got stars at every position and then a lot of depth as well.
See that's what hurts the Browns, and when you want to talk about whether the Browns is doing something that you like. When I look at the San Francisco 49ers, they have moves where it's splash. They were already in the Super Bowl. They said, let me go get Christian McCaffrey. They already had Joey Bosa and
Let's get Chase Young.
Give me Chase Young. They had Debo, give me Ayuk. They still got Kittle. Like they went out and got Trent Williams. Like they have gone and overdone it. Like they getting guys and still getting them to the place where they are.
Operation Stockpile.
Stockpile. When we can't even develop one guy. Like think about it. Like the Browns have a generational problem with having receivers. If you go in any generation, right, and you say 70s, who the Browns have in the 70s?
No, you're right about that. We've looked into it. There
80s,
probably
90s.
is no franchise in the NFL that has had less success at wide receiver than the Browns.
I do not know who I was having this conversation with, but I think it's fair to say that Amari Cooper has been the most productive wide receiver since '99. That's not the point I'm making. That's a dumb moment. Everybody know that. But from an athletic standpoint, from being a flat-out dog, we've been searching for somebody like Josh Gordon since Josh Gordon.
Facts.
And I can't remember a time, even if I do my history back in time, I don't know if the Browns ever had a wide receiver like Josh Gordon. And we ain't had one since that. No. We got lucky coming up on Amari Cooper. And so this is a position that I definitely think needs to be addressed. And you got to keep swinging at it, man, until you can finally hit that thing out the park.
I agree with that, but you definitely have to change your approach.
Yeah, you do.
Because
drafting wide receivers in the third round is not it. Sixth round is not it.
No, however you're valuing wide receivers, you need to rip up that book and go back to the drawing board, because the qualities that you have valued in wide receivers have given us Bell and Schwartz, and the list goes on and on and on. However you're doing it, you need to change it because it's not working.
Now, I'm not saying that this person is going to be a major contributor. I'm just saying that this person I'm about to mention, I'm intrigued by. Michael Woods. I am very intrigued by Michael Woods. 2 years ago when he did play, I ain't going to say he showed a lot of something. It's just something about this dude that I'm intrigued, and I'm interested to see how he's going to bounce back from that injury.
All right.
And if he can make this team in this upcoming training camp.
All right.
Naming about 17 receivers, McNuggets. 17. Go ahead.
We'll take 16, and then we can complain it's not enough. We'll make this one quick, because I think we'll be in agreement. Tight end, is that a blue chip position group for the Browns?
Because I think we have nice depth there too.
I'll go blue chip. Actually, if you I think David Njoku is really just me. See, he just now learning how to get open. Like he just really, and he don't even really run crazy vertical routes. And one of the things that I think he realized is, hey, I'm bigger than these dudes. I shouldn't be going down that easy.
You think he had an epiphany?
Yeah, he's like, hold on. Like sometimes you ever see watching the NFL and receivers just look like they just naturally, they anticipate the contact and just fall down. Like he's like, hold on, let me just stiff arm a couple of these DBs. Hey, I'm bigger than these dudes. I think he really, the light has gone off. I like Harrison Bryant. I like what they do with Harrison Bryant. I mean, he does a lot of different other things. I even like their third tight end. What's his name? The kid.
Was it Akins?
Yeah,
Akins.
I like Jordan Akins. He was somebody that when they added him to this team last offseason, I thought that was a good move because he had some familiarity with Deshaun Watson.
Right.
Harrison Bryant, still a young player, serviceable, solid, good dude. David Njoku has propelled himself into, in my opinion, a top 5 tight end
What
in
I
the
need
NFL.
to see, though, from Njoku is that he can do it with someone else other than Joe Flacco.
So for that,
Because Joe's gone.
I would give them the blue chip because I would look at it and saying you got 2 that's good and you got 1
Yeah, I
that's
think
that's
blue
top
chip is
5.
fair.
All in agreement.
Do you still? I still. There's one thing I can nitpick with. I feel like Njoku should be more of a target in the red zone. I still don't see it.
I don't understand that either.
He's just not an option down there,
And I don't get
it's
it.
crazy to me a little bit.
Yeah, he's big, he's athletic, he can high point. He should have 10 touchdowns minimum every year.
Well, since we nitpicking, I know that
See,
I know
open
this.
again.
Seriously, because like I know this is not a video game. I know this is not Madden, and so when you get down to the red zone and on the goal line, you got to be creative. But like in its most simple form, 1 + 1 will always equal 2. Just turn around and get a damn ball to Nick Chubb.
Yeah. If he's available, that's a
should
very
be-
good option.
That should be like 1A, 1B, and 1C.
Yeah. If he's there, hey, I'm all for it.
The Browns' offensive line at one point was certainly a blue chip group. Guys have gotten older. There are some injury concerns heading into 2024. How do you evaluate the Browns' current crop of offensive linemen on this
Yellow.
scale? Blue is blue chip, green is good, yellow is age, injury, or contract concerns, and they're certainly not pink, which is unproven and young. So
No.
really, of those three,
I mean,
how would
Jack
you categorize
Conklin,
the offensive
that,
line?
That contract is that's a tough pill to swallow.
I still don't
We've got the best pieces of our offensive line are old.
And their guards.
Now, I know DeJuan Jones looks like he's coming to be a superstar in this league. But right now, he's still young.
And he has a lot of. Here's the thing I worry about. I understand when you are that massive and you have any sort of injuries to your lower body, that's tough.
Especially at that position.
Especially at that position because it's going to take you bending. It's going to take a lot of wear and tear. You're bending and getting in a pass that you need your legs and your feet. I would give them like an unripened banana.
Not quite yellow, but maybe green?
Yeah, like
What
a
do you
yellowish
have?
green.
I got them at yellow, and the reason I don't have them at blue chip is because the injuries are starting to pile up and age is a real thing. But I have them at yellow. Joe Bitonio, solid, solidified. I know what I get out of Wyatt Teller. Jack Conklin, he got some injury concerns, but when he is healthy, he is always somewhere in the top 12 according to PFF as far as, his offensive grade. Then you got the young dudes like DeJuan Jones, of course, under.
You want to go green?
You sound like you're going green.
What's green? Good?
Green
Yeah,
is
green is
good.
good.
Okay,
Green
so
is
that's
good.
what I
Let's
meant
go
to.
green.
My apologies.
Let's go green.
That's what I meant, green.
But see,
that's what
the
I meant,
thing
green.
is, in the
I think they're
description
good.
of yellow is old and contract, and I got and
that's
injuries.
that's my bad. I had the colors wrong.
Old, yeah,
It's green.
injury, yeah, contract.
Well, let me
concerns, yeah.
ask
green.
you guys this to make it easier. Are you more confident this line is good than your concerns are about their age and durability?
Well, the other thing too is perhaps the strongest piece of all of it is gone, and that's the coach.
And that is another factor to
He
consider.
pulled rabbits out of hats last year with guys that I'm pretty sure were loading FedEx trucks before they came here.
So Jared Wills was not playing well. I mean, Jared Wills, he had brought his play up, but his play had a long way to go. So you have Jack Conklin being hurt the last 3 years. Those are your 2 tackles. But then you got DeJuan Jones, who probably is the future. And so you got to find 3 of those guys to play 2 positions.
And Posick has been good. Let's go green.
Yeah,
I feel
green.
like it is green.
because continually the center and 2 guards are solid.
And yeah, so let's go that.
And not only that, man, even the guys that's rotational pieces, right? Even those dudes can play multiple positions.
Right.
And we've seen them have success do so under Kevin Stefanski's tenureship as the Browns head coach.
Right.
So I think green is solid.
Nick Harris, listen, the fullback room, we gave the fullback room a blue chip. You got to better go back to them and ask for some money. They got Nick Harris now is playing
filling that void. Are there any other categories? I mean, we
There's
gotta
a
go
whole defense, but we're going to save that for tomorrow,
What was
actually,
that
because
dude
there's a
name?
couple of things I want to get to
Brian
today.
Vickers?
Lawrence
Yeah,
Vickers.
Lawrence Vickers.
Yeah.
You know, Lawrence Vickers was in that backfield. He was out. Him and Peyton Hillis. Go back and watch Peyton Hillis. That year he was a terror.
When he got on the cover of Madden. the next
Yeah,
year?
Peyton
was a
Hillis,
machine.
he was a monster. I was like, dang, bro. Sometimes I just go back and look at some dudes, right? And you be like, man,
You forgot how good they were.
I forgot you was a ball player.
That
We'll
was
do
fun.
defense tomorrow.
We're going to do defense. We're going to do it all today, but that discussion was really enlightening. I thought we nailed it, guys. And the chat, by the way, Earl was with you. 47% blue chip on Nick Chubb. So they were with us as a panel on Watson. They were with Earl on the blue chip for Nick Chubb, excuse me. And we'll do defense tomorrow in these same categories. The Move the Sticks podcast with Daniel Jeremiah, Bucky Brooks doesn't come out till Thursday. So we have a few days to go, even if they do release the AFC North rankings this week. Tonight, though, 5 o'clock, you want more Browns content? G. Bush got you covered on the Ultimate Browns show. He had Jerry Ball with him on Friday. I'm not sure what he's got planned today, but as always, G. Bush talking Browns at 5 o'clock, the Ultimate Browns show on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show YouTube
Fastest
channel.
30 minutes in all of sports talk radio or TV, internet, whatever. Listen, it be going fast. People be jumping in. Today we push some of our call-ins. So if you want to get call in to our hotline, I'll put the hotline number out after the show. But we got some hotline questions that we'll get to about the draft, and then we got some other questions about some of the offseason targets. So we'll talk about that coming up today.
Awesome. Jay, you're going to Arizona this week for spring training. Jason Lloyd's out there already. He'll be joining us on the show tomorrow or Wednesday. We're not sure. But Chris Antonetti, the Guardians GM, said over the weekend that part of the reason they decided not to spend money has nothing to do with the team's 2024 TV deal, which is $55 million. Just for comparison's sake, the Dodgers are getting $240 million. But it's because they want to find out which of their young players can succeed in the big leagues. I see Earl smirking. G's giggling like a child over there. Jay, are you buying what Chris Antonetti is selling here?
No, but he's a good company guy.
He is.
I like Chris.
Yeah,
I like Chris a lot.
I feel sorry for him.
I do too. I feel like Chris is an upper echelon executive in Major League Baseball. And a lot of people want to point out that he's, let some players perhaps go a little early, and particularly some outfielders here in the last couple of years, and they've gone on to have some success in other teams' organizations. I get that. You're not going to hit 100%. All you need to do in judging Chris Antonetti is go to the most difficult position in baseball to develop, and that's pitcher, and look at his track record. And there isn't another executive in baseball that wouldn't trade his success record and track record and resume at developing pitchers with Chris. Chris, they've just done a tremendous job. The reason I feel sorry for Chris is because he has to sell the owner's message, because the owner doesn't sell it. The owner doesn't meet with reporters.
He don't even come outside.
Is he
might
inside
be a
all the time?
vampire. I ain't never seen that man. If you put him on the screen and didn't have a caption, I wouldn't know who he was.
You wouldn't know. You wouldn't recognize him.
Swear to goodness, I wouldn't know who he is.
We should play a game and get 3 random
just write
photos
stuff on
and
notes.
call it.
No,
Give
who's
it to
the owner?
Chris.
You know what's
Chris, go
hysterical?
take it
I
to
would be
Please.
able to pick. I've interviewed him, but
The Guardians tweeted out 3 pictures saying expecting big things from these guys, and I almost made it a game show today of who are these 3.
Yeah.
Because I only knew 2 of them. There was a guy I had no
not.
idea who he was.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll throw him up here real quick. By the end of this segment, we'll throw him up.
here's the problem. Okay, the problem is the owner is the kind of owner that is picking his spots. So if you're the Dodgers and your TV contract is worth $240 million, or you're the Guardians and you're going to get $55 million out of your TV deal this year, which is $1 for every 5 the Dodgers get, how are you supposed to compete with that? There is a major playing field problem in Major League Baseball. Always has been, always will be. Why? Because when the Dodgers and the Yankees make the playoffs, the ratings are higher than when the Brewers and the Tigers make the playoffs. It is good business for the big market teams to be successful. It is bad business for the small market teams to be successful. And as long as that's the case, and that is the case, then Major League Baseball has no incentive to make an even playing field. That's one reason I think the NFL is the most popular league. Everybody asks me, is it the violence? Is it? No, I think what it is it's the parity. Even though we haven't had a chance to experience that parity, the league is set up to about every 5 to 7 years, the talent cycle completely washes through. The league is set up for you to be good, and when you're good, it's set up for you to be not as good. And when you're not very good, it is set up for you to be better. And Major League Baseball, as long as you have the haves and the have-nots, and there are clear delineations between the haves and the have-nots, you're going to get trash. So if you're the owner of the Guardians, you can't compete spending-wise with the Dodgers. So what you do is you have to pick your spots. When in the 10-year cycle can I go for it? And we've seen them go for it, with different free agent signings that were helpful and needed. Last year, because of the success they had in 22, which was early, it was ahead of schedule, the owner went out and he signed Zunino and Bell. So those were moves that he thought could get this team over the top. Both of them fell flat on their face. Zunino, I think, is out of baseball. Bell was traded to the Marlins and suddenly became Bell again. So the two moves last year were awful. So now the owner's like, I went for it last year and it didn't work. I've got to sit back and see what I have before I decide whether or not I'm going to go all in on spending. I get it, but I hate it.
So for me, Jay, this is me just having a conversation with my homie as a casual baseball fan. I really don't give a damn about them being able to develop pitching, right? You've been developing pitching since I was 13 years old. At this point, tell me something I don't know. To me, I think the Cleveland Guardians continue to be hustling backwards, right? You always trying to nickel and dime this fan base with these rising stars or this farm system when it comes to the offensive side of it, instead of actually taking some real money and going out there and get you a real piece, not even realizing the money gonna come back to you. If you go get a solidified star and you actually spend the money, I can care less about the cap or the market that you pay in. Go spend the money, because if he's that dude, you're going to make that money back in merchandise sales. And I don't know if the chat is going to feel this or not, or if people is going to watch and feel this or not. I'm sure you will. But this is Cleveland. We love our professional sports teams. All we want is a quality product on the field. And I swear to God, we're going to show up and we're going to show out every single time. And when I look at the Dolans as an owner and you look across the landscape of Cleveland, at least Jimmy Haslam tries. Like, go holler at Dan Gilbert. At least he came through with a championship. And yet you continue to sell us on this BS about you want to watch Gabriel Arias develop and see if he got it, right? You finessed J-Ram and taking this contract with the mindset that you was going to build a team around him, and you haven't done so. Like, me and Mike was upstairs talking. We play in the mid-market, and I'm not the most educated when it comes to how the salary cap and how the finances work in baseball. But I do know teams that's mid-market teams like Milwaukee spent more team than us. Baltimore spent more money.
Smaller
Kansas
market
City,
than us.
Cincinnati, Minnesota. So, like, don't give me this BS about you want to just sit up there and wait for this young talent to develop to where you really, really pissing off your fan base. You put a quality product out there, we will come and support it. The math is not hard.
Well, here's the problem with that premise. There were a number of years where the Indians at the time were very, very good in the standings and were near the bottom in attendance. And that stings, being from the Cleveland area and being a baseball fan. This, once upon a time, was, I'm not going to call it a baseball town like St. Louis, but in the mid-90s, what is the retired number of 454 or 455? That's the number of consecutive sellouts this franchise had. Guys, think about that. And when they were selling it out at that size, it was full size. It wasn't the downgraded smaller stadium that it's become. It was 41,000 fans for 455 straight games. Guys, 81 home games a year. That's 6 straight years.
That's my childhood. The Browns wasn't here. The cast was garbage.
Now,
and so for me, not to cut you off, this is why it pisses me off so much, because I know for a fact that things can be much better than what they are. And I know for a fact this city will show up and show out. But yet you keep throwing at us in this face these BS excuses about why you don't want to go spend money, and you're going to expect us to spend our hard money
No, that's
to
fair.
come down there and support this team. Man, kiss my ass with that.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And I have, unfortunately, I've heard the fan base is more in line with that this year than any time that I've heard them before. And here's why. They said when they made some moves a couple of years ago, when Frankie was gone, well, we're going to reinvest in this team. We're going to take that money. They haven't. We're continually at the bottom of the payroll in the last tier. And in tiers, there's 6 tiers. There's the top 5, then there's number 6 through 10. We're always in the last tier. You're telling the fans not to care, and the fans are starting to listen. And that breaks my heart because I'm a baseball guy. I want to see baseball succeed in Cleveland. I know it can because I watched it in the mid to late 80s when we sold out 455 straight games. You don't do that on accident. Now, because they had some years in 16 when they almost won the World Series, we were bottom half of the league in attendance. So what that told the owner is, what are you talking about? You told me if I spend, you will come. You didn't. And you told me if we won, you would show up. And you didn't. So I don't know if I call it winner's fatigue. The Atlanta Braves went through this in the 80s and the 90s when they were every single year, they were winning their division. And then they've got one World Series out of all of those great teams, and that World Series happened to come at our expense. They beat us. But I was covering Braves playoff games against the Indians in the World Series that were not sellouts. And the fans there got fatigue. Oh, you guys keep winning and teasing us, but you never gave us the chip. And I think the Guardians are in that space right now.
This is like a real world people question. I'm going to ask this because and a lot of times people think we just be joking, right? Because we're at different points of our careers, right? So finances, as a man gets older, you hit certain brackets and you hit certain figures, and as you work longer, you make more money as you get older. That's just a principle in capitalism. So one of the things that we laugh sometimes about, yeah, Jay got a boat and all these other different things, right? The one of the real questions of it is because you do live in a certain circle and you do know people like this. I got a real question. He's, I believe I do my math correctly, 66 years old, right? If you own a business and you own, if you own a lot of different other things, you say it all the time, man, I'm hitting the finish line. My question is for those business owners, what is the mentality of, I'm going to be frugal? How many trips can you go on? How many cars can you drive? How many bags? Right. At the end of the day, when you're laying on your deathbed, you remember memories. You remember experiences. So if you're 66 years old and you're a multimillionaire, you're not going to die poor. I believe that you have financial guys that have kept your nest egg correct. You wouldn't be a businessman if you were. My thing is, what good does it do you at 66?
It's a good and fair question. I'll use your line that you use all the time. There's levels to this.
Yeah.
Okay? I believe, and this is just as an observer, I don't have any inside information to his finances. I can only make assessments based on his actions. Mm-hmm. People misunderstand wealth sometimes, okay?
All right.
Jeff Bezos is rich.
Yeah.
Elon Musk is rich.
Mm-hmm.
These are dudes that have endless zeros behind their bank account. Mm-hmm. If they want to buy a team and make it a winner, they can do it. They'll just buy their way to the top. Then there's mid-level rich. And that's guys like Dolan that own the Guardians. He has an asset that's worth a ton of money. Mm-hmm. Here's the problem. It's tied up in the team.
It's not solvent.
He is not solvently rich.
Yeah.
I mean, by our standards, he is.
Yeah.
Okay? But he's not run a Major League Baseball team rich. He's deciding how much money he's going to spend and when he's going to spend it because he's probably going to have to dig into his own pocket. because the $55 million he gets is trying to compete with the $240 million that the Dodgers' local contract is. So people might look at his net worth. Let me Google his net worth. Well, his net worth is whatever the Guardians are worth. That's not liquid. And I believe that with COVID, he ran into a situation where he perhaps was making payroll out of his wealth. And that's not the way they want to operate.
If you don't want to answer this, you don't have to. But in your opinion, because you're the biggest baseball guy on this panel, do you think the Dolans should sell the team?
Yes, I've been begging them to sell the team. And I think that that's in the works. I think with the Blitzer Group and their buy-in 2 years ago, there are clauses and escalators that gives the Blitzer Group an opportunity. Because I don't think the Blitzer Group wanted to be a minority owner. That's not his MO. His MO is to own teams. He fully owns other teams. He doesn't want to be, when you're a minority owner, you know what that means? You spend a lot of money, but you have no say. Dolan has 51%. He might as well have 100%. And at some point, it becomes welfare. So Blitzer smartly wrote into the deal that he can buy more of the club until he gets to the point where he is the majority owner. I wish we would just cut to the chase and do it now. For the sake of the fans. Like Dolan, I don't know what motivated him to buy the team. In my conversation with him in the past, he was a small guy that played shortstop and had dreams of making the big leagues and didn't. And then, through hard work and being a lawyer, his father and uncle or cousins or whatever it is, they had money. Now he owns the team. Okay. If you can't do right by your fan base and give them a product that has a legitimate chance to win, and you have to tell us this year's going to be a wash. You're saying the loud part out loud. When you say we're going to, or the quiet part, when you're saying I'm going to see what the kids can do before we bring in guys that can stifle their growth, what you're saying out loud to the fan base is, check us out in 25. And I don't,
I got to think. Go ahead.
We deserve better than that.
Before I say something, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I'm just frustrated.
So they
bro.
tweeted
I am
out this
too.
weekend, and Jay, you're our baseball guru. They tweeted out 3 pictures of guys, and the quote on the text on the tweet was "big, strong men."
Yeah.
I'm going to show you these 3. Let me know if you guys can recognize who these 3 players are. Let's take the first one, Steve. Do you know who this is?
Oh, that's so far away from me. I can't even.
Who is that?
No.
Is that the guy they got from Tampa in the trade for? I think that could be.
That's not Manzardo.
Yeah, Manzardo. I
That's
don't know
not
who that is.
Manzardo.
I don't know who that is.
No.
I am 74% sure that this is Jonathan Rodriguez, their number 35 prospect.
Hold on.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not
but
sure
the
for
fan
sure.
base wouldn't know who these.
Hold
guys
on.
are.
I know who that is. That's Isaiah Mobley.
Okay,
I wish
next
he had
up.
guns like
They
that.
tweeted 3, Jay, so you'd assume if they're going to tweet 3,
All right.
you should know these guys.
Well, I think though, in defense of them here, this is the whole idea of this exercise is you don't know these guys yet, but you will.
Introduce them.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey.
then let's see. Do you guys know number 2 here? This one's a little bigger.
No.
I know this one for a fact. This one is the only one I'm fully 100% confident.
Ain't that dude?
I seen videos of that dude hitting home runs last year in the minor leagues. Didn't he get suspended for fighting or something like that?
That is not George Valera.
No,
Oh,
that is.
That's not him then. I don't know nothing.
His name is a very interesting, unique name.
That's the dude that we had. That's Josh Bell without the braids.
He got
that
his
is-
hair and he came back.
I hope I'm pronouncing this correct. Jahansky Noel.
No clue who.
Yeah, no, I think you
No.
missed the first name.
It's
No.
Jhonkensy.
Yeah.
I like his change though. I like
Jahansky?
Yeah, I see his drip.
I'm
I
not
like
sure how
his
to pronounce
swag.
I like his drip. I like it though.
I like
And
his swag.
Last but not least,
Hitty
the
hit.
third, the next of the Guardians' big, strong
Who
men.
knows?
Anthony, take it. Do you know who this is?
Is that Valero?
That is not Valera.
A reject Prince Fielder Jr.
I am 43%
No idea.
confident this is Devison De Los Santos, the guy
Yeah.
they picked up in the Rule 5 draft from the Arizona Diamondbacks.
I thought that was.
Every reply to this tweet
I,
was,
I-
who the hell are these 3?
Yeah,
I
but
thought-
that's the exercise of it. What they're doing is they're showing us guys, like if they put Jose Ramirez on there, we all know who Jose Ramirez is. The idea is we've got guys that we think are going to be exciting, and we're going to find out.
They purposely
it's
marketed
all part of the corporate vision.
Yeah.
We don't want to bring in experienced veterans. Yeah. We want to see what our young guys that you don't know about yet can be.
It kind of lines up with everything else, with the tweets, with the statements. This was they purposely marketed this way.
1,000%.
Hey, you know what?
Yeah.
We need to see what Yasiel Baerga is all about.
Look, I get it.
The worst part
but
about that
the fan
exercise,
base deserves better.
Yes. The worst part about that exercise was I was convinced one of them was Ramon Laureano.
And it was not.
None of them, to my knowledge, are Ramon Laureano.
And look, that's fine. I get it. Teams have prospects. You could do that with all 30 teams. You could show their 3 hottest prospects in the minor leagues, and their fan bases would be like, who the hell is this guy? I don't know this guy. We don't watch minor league games. We don't know what their faces look. We know the names and the stats. That's it.
I'm gonna keep it real, Jay. I was gonna say this before McNuggets started, and you know what? I used to have that burning thing, and the reason I asked you the question I asked you about finances is this: like sometimes, like just put it in perspective. I worked as hard as I ever worked in my life this year. I own like 2 or 3 businesses. I worked so hard. It's the most money I ever made in my life. But at the end of the day, you said something that resonates. Just because you feel like you're doing well, there's levels to it. And every level of wellness you do is another level of wellness you got to pay.
That's true.
And when you start to, you like, oh, this is great. And what I learned, I had the biggest awakening when I did taxes. I had to do them 3 or 4 times. I was like, hold on, what do you mean? Like, and when you're looking into Dolan's, there's a certain thing when you are paying payroll out of your pocket. Like some people operate businesses as a small business, and it is a small business compared to other businesses that just happen to be in Major League Baseball.
You got Home Depot and you got Harry's Hardware.
Harry's Hardware.
And Harry's Hardware isn't going to be able to go into his pocket and pay his entire payroll for 6 months. It's going to put him under. Home Depot knows where the capital sits. They have access to hedge funds and big loans.
Short-term and money infusion.
And I'm sure that's what Dolan did. Dolan probably had to take loans.
Them COVID loans.
Yes, to make his payroll. So what I say is Cleveland deserves an owner that is flush with cash, who can pay what Cincinnati is paying, what Detroit is paying. We're not asking for Dodgers and Yankees. We're asking for other cities like Cleveland, Milwaukee, Cincinnati, Detroit, Kansas City. Let's come up to that level. And instead, we're not getting that. I believe when the Blitzer Group takes over full time, I believe that you'll see this team operate like a real major league franchise.
You heard it from Jay. Brighter days are on the way. Gee, I want to get one more reading because I got to set you up with something here special. But you can get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your team wins. You can bet on all your favorite NBA players and teams with quick bets, live same-game parlays, exclusive props, and so much more. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS and shoot your shot. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Got 3 super chats real quick, and then, G, a topic that we need you here for. Matthew Dinkins, though, first super chat says, in relation to how to fix the All-Star game, no play-in game, 7th and 8th seed of the losing conference is banned from the playoffs and replaced by the 9th and 10th seed of the winning conference.
Wow.
That'd be spicy. He also says losing players from the losing conference on live TV have to give the Instagram handles of all their side chicks in every NBA city to their wives and girlfriends. That would be objectively hysterical, Matthew. That certainly would increase the intensity. And Evan419 said, Bell and Zanino took Will Benson and Nolan Jones's 40-man spots. Do you want the young guys to have a chance to show off, or do you want free agents? You can't have it both ways.
Here's the problem. No, you can't. But you can't also have a 4A organization.
Yes.
And that's what the Guardians are. They're not a major league organization. They have to operate they're a feeder system for the major leagues.
They're going to get relegated.
And that's not good for the fan base. Yeah, I want to see what the young kids can do. But every other franchise has young kids too. They see what they do in the minors. When they're ready, done cooking, they bring them up.
Speaking of young kids, G, Amani Bates was a bright spot in the All-Star weekend. He led both his teams in their Rising Star games in scoring. They lost in the finals. Amani continues after our interview to prove people wrong. G, at this point, has he earned a shot on the NBA level? Has he earned the right to get some minutes here down the stretch?
That's all that's all up to, you know what I'm saying, because that's one of the questions I asked him. I said, what are they telling you that they want to get some minutes?
What did he say to that?
He said, they just want me to continue to work on defense. Defense. They know I can score. They know I can shoot. It's about, you know what I'm saying, getting in that rotation. It's about playing defense. Now, here's the thing about basketball. We just had 2 guys go down. And, a lot of times it ain't really about, like, oh, did you deserve minutes? There's a lot of people that deserve minutes. It's about the opportunity.
Yeah.
Right? So when you get that opportunity, you got to go in and do your thing. But like I said before, I told him he was going to get buckets. I said it, when I saw him in the Rising Challenges. So to me, I'll say this, and this may seem crazy. A lot of people say Evan Mobley is the key. But there's 2 ways you can skin a cat. If you can come in next year and Imani Bates and took another leap, he can score. You can put some weight on him and play defense. Now, look what you got. You got now, instead of Max Strus, you got a guy that's 6'9", that can knock down shots, and now you can move Max Strus to the bench, and you don't need Evan Mobley to be getting 25 points a game. So it's more than one way to skin a cat. I think he's a big part of the big piece. And I think they're going to go with that youth movement, seeing that Craig Porter Jr. just got that 4-year deal. And I think Sam Merrill's going to get a deal. I think the Cavs' future is very bright.
So to wrap this up, because I know we got to get to the Black History moment, to answer you directly, yes, I do think he's done enough to earn an opportunity to play some real minutes. But I don't think that's going to happen now. I think that J.B. Bickerstaff already is having an issue trying to play what's become a very deep 10 to 11-man rotation.
Sure.
But I believe with him on a 2-way contract, the Cavs can have him active for about 50 games. So if the Cleveland Cavaliers, once we get, the end of March, early April, and the Cavaliers have locked up wherever they're going to be seated at in the playoffs, I think for the rest of that season, once you know exactly where you are and you can't move up or down, let Imani come in, man, and get as much run as he possibly can. Because to G's point, in the next year, maybe 2 years, you hope that he is starting to realize his potential. And now that's that 3, that's a pure scorer, that's a shooter, that's that athlete that you want. So
I think Imani's problem is he's just with the wrong team. When I saw this question from you, Mike, originally, I asked this. I said, what does he offer that no one else can bring? And that's where I had a problem with finding sizable minutes for Imani. He is, Mike, please help me if I'm out of bounds on this. He's a shooter. He's a guy that can score, but there are so many other boxes that he currently doesn't check. And and that makes him a niche player.
That's accurate right now. Right now. Can change.
Right now.
Right now. Yeah, it's accurate.
Now, he's got to get bigger. I worry for his bones. He's so damn slight. I mean, this is a grown man's league.
We said that about Evan Mobley, and Evan Mobley has put some weight on
A little bit.
Yeah.
I still want him to get bigger, but I think that he's a nice project. I love the fact that the organization has been very clear with him. You need to play defense. You need to go down to the G League, and you need to learn how to play defense. And if he can come back and have some semblance of a defensive game, because I haven't seen it yet, if he can develop that, now you can say, okay, this is a guy that can deserve some rotational minutes, and let's see what happens.
Yep.
But I think his growth is probably being stunted by the fact that, and you said this, Earl, there are a lot of guys on this team that deserve minutes probably more than he does.
Yeah, but you know what, though? Tyvus said something last week, and I kind of agree. I think he's on the right team. I think he's in the right situation.
Okay.
I think he's on the right organization. But this is a marathon. This isn't a sprint.
I like that approach.
And the fact that it is that, I think that if he can just continue to just be still, continue to work hard, as he said, make the main thing, stay patient, keep grinding, then you can reach your potential right here with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
All right, give us your Black History moment.
I wish we had more time because of who it was. This is a bad job out of us. We're rushing it because of who this is. But today, The 19th of February in 1947, Jackie Robinson broke the baseball's color barrier for the Brooklyn Dodgers. He won a National League Rookie of the Year award to help the Dodgers to the National League Championship, the first of his 6 trips to the World Series. In 1949, Robinson won the league MVP award, was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1962. And of course, every year on April 15th, baseball players around the entire league were number 42 in his honor. The numbers otherwise, of course, retired throughout the league. So today, we honor Jackie Robinson. You're a baseball dude. Today, perfect day. Like, shout out to Jackie Robinson, man.
One of my favorite sports movies is 42. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's unbelievable. It really does a great job of telling his story and the obstacles that he had to overcome. Just a tremendous
Steve is having
human
technical
being.
difficulties galore back here.
Hey, welcome back, Steve.
Welcome back, Steve.
Welcome back, Steve.
Ants getting loose in the bullpen.
We'll see y'all on over.